Probably a good thing.
Oh, okay. Broadcast video is live. Okay.
All right. Hey.
What's going on, guys?
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Overdose 9. I'd like to do introductions over here. We got a great show for you tonight. Starting from right to left, I guess, as you're viewing us, we have Tim Maloney, also known as the Yellow Bus.
Shake that.
We got next up. We got our gracious host over here, Surf Dub from Surf Dub Entertainment.
That's
and,
right.
And in the middle, the man in the middle, we have Sean Shank, the man that has fired 2 or 3 of them off just since we went live over here. So, and then of course you got me, Jim from Jim's Nerd Nation, and our special guest tonight on Overdose 9 is eBabsDumpsIt51. He's able to make it on short notice, so thank you for that. And
not a problem.
And everybody say hello to our special guest.
Hello.
So, homies.
So I was like, hey, we should start like a tradition for guests on the show, and while we think of what that should be, yeah, it's something that has to be hazing. So while we're thinking about of a hazing ritual, why don't you tell us about what eBabsDumpsIt? What the hell does that mean? I know you have a video on it, but I think a lot of our viewers haven't seen it.
All right. Okay. So.
Also, real quick, not to cut you off there, but Surf, on my screen, I've been on there for the last 5 minutes, so I don't know if you forgot to click off of me or something like that, so it goes back to...
I see there's a camera. That's weird.
No, it's not on here.
No, it's not. It's switching. It's you, Jim. You just have to click on your own picture.
Okay, I got you. Sorry, I just want to make sure because I know we've had that problem in the past, so apologize.
That's only when I'm running the show.
Well, there's nothing better than watching 15 minutes of video with reaction.
It's the only reason I mentioned it, because nobody wants to see my face for 15 minutes.
That happened early on. I think in one of the first episodes, it's just like Yellow Bus just clicking like absentmindedly for half hour, because after Tim like peeks in to say something and then he blacks out for like 30 minutes. So it was like the best.
Well, towards the end of the show, it's mostly Christy's fault because she's like yelling at me. She's like, "Kind of bad." I'm like, shut the fuck up.
It's funny shit. I'm sorry. Anyways,
done.
Back to eBabsDumpsIt. So how did that come about, man?
Alrighty. So the evolution of my name. So kind of a long story. I'll kind of short it up here. But so my last name, Babs, is in it, and I do a lot of work on eBay. And in high school, I was in an entrepreneurial class where I could start my own business. So I started a business buying and selling things for people on eBay. So eBay, Babs, it kind of rhymed or, had a little ring to it. So eBabs evolved. And
I just like saying it, eBabs.
Yeah, it's pretty catchy. I like it,
I like it.
And the Dumpsit part, I used to play, I still do, play Call of Duty with my buddies. And there's this concept of turning on someone, and that's when you get shot from behind and you're able to turn around and kill the guy before he kills you. So, I didn't really like the whole turn on, I just didn't like the way it sounds, so I would call it dump on. You got dumped on. And I would always say that when I was playing, and my friends were like, you know what, you should just change your gamer tag to eBabsDumpsIt. I'm like, you know what, I'm going to fucking do it.
That's great, dude.
So I did, and then, yeah, that's the evolution of eBabs.
EBD.
EBD.
I love that. It's one of those 3-letter acronyms like we have a lot of. But
and it's neat the story that comes behind it too. So,
yeah, it's kind of cool.
Everybody thinks something different probably, or derive their own.
I always said like
they don't hear.
I said to myself like I'll make a video about what surf dub means when like someone asks. Oh, look, I have surf dub today. It doesn't even have the. Too much pot. But I was like, oh, if somebody asks me, like I'll explain it. Like I'll make a video about it. But so far nobody has. But like all people are like, do you even surf? You're from the Chicago area. I'm like, no, I don't.
Do you like dubstep?
Yeah, that's the thing. I put it today. Ironically, I don't surf or dub. But so what's everyone drinking this week? Let's start on the right, Yellow Bus.
Shakta.
And
I actually wanted to let you know. I know that Sean's about to one-up me, but I bought a 6-pack, and instead of like getting a cooler or something awesome like that, I just got a pitcher and I just put ice. So I have 2 in my left hand and I have 1 in my right hand popped already.
And it's like that shitty plastic pitcher from the mid-'80s. I remember like that faded blue one in my fridge when I was a kid.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, this is actually fairly new from the Wally world.
Yeah, don't lie. It's not good to lie. I have water because I just got over the stomach flu, and if I even have a fucking beer right now, I have water. I have water in pot.
Sorry.
I was actually kind of mad because I like every once in a while I stopped smoking for a while just because I don't like to be dependent on anything, and like I hadn't smoked in like 2 weeks, and then I got the stomach flu, and I was like, I'm gonna get some weed and settle my stomach, and it actually really worked. Okay, so anyways, Sean Shank.
I'm just drinking my normal stuff.
I just think it's funny. You need to graduate to a mini fridge. That's awesome.
Dude, I've got a fucking cooler next to me that I can fit 3 cases in.
It's got like a pull-out drawer that's got a cooler.
No, it's like one of those fucking coolers.
Trundle bed instead of a trundle bed.
Trundle bed.
Kids can't sleep there. What about you, Jim? What are you drinking?
Yeah, I'm just going with the water, but you guys have been getting real thirsty the last couple of weeks, so I may go mix myself a drink here.
Go make yourself a cocktail, Jimbo.
I said that last week, and then we kind of got going with things, and next thing you know, it was a couple hours later, and I forgot about it. So who knows? Maybe tonight.
I see a red straw. I'm intrigued.
Rocking the big gulp.
The big gulp.
I'd like to tell you there's nothing in it. Due to NCAA violations, I can't necessarily, you know.
Oh, no shit, dude.
That's confirm or deny that.
It's all got to be, I'm 21, but it's all got to be concealed. It's goofy, so whatever.
Damn NCAA.
Fucking NCAA.
Violations.
NC double pussy.
Right.
Wouldn't it be funny to see a pussy like side by side with another pussy? Like not two separate women, like the same. You understand what I'm
I've seen that probably a few times in my life.
One time at this caravan in Egypt,
Yeah.
a lady took me in a tent and showed me her whispering eyes. Wouldn't it be funny though if they were sort of like they weren't even? That'd be even funnier.
You mean like half Asian, half white?
Yeah, we could go with that.
Because
All
they
right,
are
so
sideways.
what's gonna be our first topic? I have a feeling we're gonna talk a lot about E3 today.
E3,
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah, there's been quite a bit of happenings there in the last couple of days.
Remember when nobody gave a shit about things like E3 because video games were that huge? Remember when there was no E3 because nobody gave a shit about video games? How long has there been in E3? I don't know any of the history on it. I just started talking as if I knew something.
50,000 years.
50,000.
I mean, I'm watching for the past like 5-6 years.
Yeah, and I think it's been about 20 plus years. It's only really been, I would say, popular and relevant for maybe the last 8 to 10. As far as, you know, a lot of the video game developers and publishers are now, you know, that's their stage now to launch a new IP or to unveil the next Grand Theft Auto or the next whatever type of, you know, big AAA title that's going to come out. This year, though, it just seems a little bit bigger, mainly because of the new systems, you know, that are coming out with the PS4 and the Xbox One, you know, looming on the horizon over here. So I think it's a little more relevant, I guess, maybe than it has been in past years, because the last time something like this happened was back in 2005, 2006. You know, when the 360 was launching and the PS3 debacle and the original Wii. So
yeah, but I mean, back then you didn't have the two major consoles launching within what, 2 weeks of each other. I know you had the original Xbox and the GameCube launched within a week of each other.
Consoles didn't cycle together until like the mid '90s, right? It used to just be like it was chaos. People just released shit.
It was really sporadic for a while.
Well,
until
Sony's actually the one that started that shit back in '95 because they released the PlayStation
right?
the same Christmas as the Saturn was released, and then later on that year the N64 was released. So they purposely cycled it because they wanted to make a name for themselves within the marketplace. But yeah, traditionally though, like the Xbox 360 was, I believe that was 2005, and then 2006, within a couple weeks of each other, was the Wii and the PS3. Those were within, I think, 2 or 3 weeks of each other, if I remember right.
Quick side note, was that the customary oxygen machine beep in the background a second ago?
That, yes.
I love that.
What's that?
We need to do something. We need to start a tradition. Every week when that fucking beep goes off, we need to do something. We need to
we need to trigger something.
To our special guest here, my father, Surf and I are related, and our father has
not by choice.
Yeah, it's like one of those bad memes. We're not brothers by choice. We are because we fucking have to. You know.
Yeah, that's sort of how that works.
We have no other choice. But our father has emphysema and has been staying with us here and lives in my basement right outside my little office area here. So he has this oxygen machine that he turns on, and for some ungodly reason, when it initially turns on, it has to make a loud beep to let you know, because apparently if you can't breathe well, you also can't hear well. I don't know. So you can't breathe, you must be deaf, sonny. But it goes off just about every show right around this time. So.
When you said emphysema, he has emphysema. I was going to say what's probably more accurate is he has 2 little black stones for lungs. That's what he.
Oh shit! Long time smoker.
Oh, dude, he's been smoking probably since he was 10, and he's how old is he, Jim? 64?
Oh, he's 63. And,
holy shit!
But he actually hasn't smoked since the beginning of the year. Now he had a real bad scare and was in the hospital from New Year's Eve all the way through about January 10th or 11th. So
I thought he was gonna die for sure, dude.
Yeah, I think everybody was on that one. But anyway, luckily he was fine. But I think it was a good enough scare to finally deter him from it, because he's admitted, a couple of times since then that he's, gone and had a puff of a cigarette or something like that. But it just completely made him feel like garbage, and I think it scared him being in the hospital for that period of time. So, and this is a man who, in his 60s, he grew up in the 60s. He was in the gangs back in Chicago back when. Back when it wasn't all about shooting each other and selling drugs on the street. It was all about, territory and respect and all that shit. And he seriously was. He was with a gang called the Simon City. Well, they're the Simon City Royals. And that's primarily a Latin gang. When he was in it was primarily a Polish gang back in the 60s. And he was warlord of the gang. And wound up going and leaving that, because obviously that was a bad road to go into Vietnam.
He wanted to get away from the violence of the city, so he went to the fucking
army,
where the life expectancy is like 3 seconds.
He wanted to get away from the violence of the city, and obviously his troubled, youth and everything else. Parents didn't really give a shit. It was seen he was going down a dark path. So he signs up, goes into the army, and they station him on a nuclear missile silo in Germany. And it's like 20 below zero, and he's such a genius and 18 years old and invincible that he volunteers to go to Vietnam. Now, they're drafting people to go to Vietnam. They're pulling people out of their homes and shit at the time and saying, you have to go into this fucking jungle with bugs the size of your fist and fight these people, that all look the same, right? The ones that are helping you and the ones you're fighting against. Everybody looks the same and sounds the same. You just got to decipher who to shoot and who not to shoot. And he decided to sign up and go in, and then he stayed in for 2 tours. He stayed in for the second tour, so our uncle Dennis, his older brother, would not have to stay in.
Dude, it just occurred to me, you need to fucking write a comic book. He could be a comic book character, through all the streets in a gang.
So they could. I was just, though, I was trying to give anybody who's listening, watching, and of course our eBabs here too, just a brief 2 or 3 minute synopsis on it. So this is a person who, for him to have given in and gotten scared and not smoking anymore, something must have really hit him hard, because this is a guy who, it was always just real brain dead in the sense of, I broke something, I'll walk it off, Right. From the injuries you were talking about having, when you suffer an injury, it's a setback, but there's a process behind it. You don't just go and walk off a torn labrum, you know what I mean? No. It's not, so, but that was always his mentality, so.
He's a crazy bastard, man.
His age, so. Anyways, all right, so, but that's not why you called.
That's not why you called. So, okay, what we were talking about, we started getting into E3, and then we started talking about Vietnam.
Yeah, but
Vietnam, E3, potato.
They go hand in hand.
So there's all this hoopla going around about Sony kicking Xbox One in the dick, and I think some of it's justified, some of it's not. What do you guys think?
Bullshit.
I got a few thoughts.
Let's hear from eBabs.
I think the way I see it, it comes down to a couple things. Right now, I do think Sony has the upper hand, and the reason being is one, the price point. Their console's $100 cheaper at what is it, $399 versus the Xbox One at $499.
Yeah.
And
yes,
which in my mind is very important, because who's playing these consoles? It's people average consumers who can't necessarily make a payment that like a $1,000 just every day.
Kids, families, I see.
Dude, I bought cars for less money. I'm not kidding.
I know, it's crazy.
Both my cars I have bought for $500 or less.
Yeah,
my car, actually, right?
Yeah. One of them was your car. I bought for $500, which had like a $500 stereo system. So I really just bought a stereo system and got a car for free.
Yep.
But anyways, I'm sorry. Go ahead. The $100 thing.
Oh, yeah, and then, just the other thing that really sticks out in my mind is the fact that the Xbox One requires all these fucking add-ons, whereas the PS4, it's just the PS4, whereas the Xbox One is, you have to be connected to the fucking internet. You have to have the Kinnect staring at your fucking face.
I think you're right, dude. Like, and think of it too. That they made a bad mistake bundling in that Kinnect, because guaranteed almost all of that extra $100 comes from that Kinnect.
Yeah, that or this whole cable box bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, and here's my take on it, and let me give a brief background so people who are watching and haven't seen the conferences and everything understand where we're coming from on this. As far as I'm concerned, the last generation or this generation's war, whatever, was won decisively by Xbox. Originally by the Wii, which came out with its kind of gimmicky motion gaming, but that faded very fast. And Xbox, I think, because of the games, because of the Xbox Live, the constant updates, to the system and to the dashboard and things like that, the additions of the apps with Netflix and everything else, I think really put it head and shoulders above anything else. I think PlayStation didn't have enough exclusives. I think they stumbled out of the gate. I think their online service was just terrible. It was free, but you get what you pay for. It was terrible. You know, they had the breach with the hackers. It was shut down for months because of that. Xbox has gotten fat and bloated, though. And what happened is Xbox went and they think that they can throw any pile of shit up against the wall now and people are going to buy it because they keep boasting about their 78 million subscribers, right? So Xbox is coming out at a price point that's still lower than what the PS3 was 6 or 7 years ago. Okay?
Right.
The PS3 released at, I believe, $499 for the base model and $599 for the premium model 6 or 7 years ago.
No, Jim,
So
it was more. It was more than that. It was
it
like
more than that?
For the
Was it
premium, it was like
$700 or
$799.
Yeah, it was huge. It was like almost $1,000.
Yeah,
Well, I
it
know
was
that. I know
huge.
that. I know that it was such a
Blu-ray.
debacle at launch that within a few months they had dropped the price already by $100 and everything. So maybe I'm thinking of after the first or second price drop. But either way, though, what I look at it is that it's an initial investment, and if the thing lasts you for a few years, realistically, dollar for dollar, there's not much of a difference in that $100. Okay. Now, if you're a kid saving up for it, that can mean all the difference in the world. However, PlayStation also has announced that they're not going to have anything with the used games. You're not going to have to pay any type of fee or be on a friends list or anything else. You're going to be able to just you buy it, you play it. That's how it should be. So they're giving us what we've already had for our entire lives. Okay, they're giving us what we had. They're not giving us anything extra. But they did that because Microsoft is saying that if you want to lend a game to somebody, they have to have been on your friends list for 24 hours. If you
30
buy
days.
a game, or 30 days. If you buy a game used, there's going to be some sort of used game fee to activate that game or something along those lines. Then you've got the extra $100. Now, Sony, they are starting a paid service now. You want to play gaming online, it's not free anymore. They have an Xbox Live-like service, so hopefully you're going to get some of the caveats that you got with Xbox Live from that because it's going to be a $5 a month thing. So a lot of people are saying, is the price difference really going to be that much? Because now you got to pay $60 a year to play online for all these great services that the PlayStation 4 is going to offer, you know. There's been no real look as far as the hardware and the graphical processors. Some people have said that the Xbox One is only going to have half the graphical processing capability of the PS4. Some people have said it's very close, you know. Personally, yeah, I think it's a myth too, you know. But I think Microsoft has really shit the bed, though, and they've really just taken for granted that a lot of people are just they're on the bandwagon, they're going to stay on it, you know. So
Right.
I, for one, though, can tell you, though, that between yesterday morning and today, I haven't done a complete 180. I'll still probably buy both systems eventually, but I'm leaning more towards picking up a PS4 initially.
Dude,
now,
so am I, and I never
and
thought
then
I would say
getting
that.
an Xbox
You know
One
what?
down the road when some of the exclusives come out, like Halo 5, this game Titanfall, by the creators of the Call of Duty series, Respawn Entertainment, and that's an exclusive. But I think I may do that, you know. Just and 24 hours ago, I would have said, "Fuck you! I'm buying an Xbox One because I just like it, and my family liked it, and my kids like it." You know, I don't care about all that shit about the Kinnect staring at you and everything else. Turn it off, unplug it. Who cares? It's not looking at you.
But you can't, though. You can't. That's the whole thing. If you unplug it, the system is inoperable. That's what I heard. That it always has to be plugged in. That's why it's such an issue.
Well, it's in an
okay,
idle
gotcha.
state, but yeah, you have to turn it off.
I think-
to actually
but I just think a lot of
regardless,
people-
you know, a lot of people like are not technologically inclined, and all they know is the camera, and they're with that looks like it's fucking peering at them. Even my Kinnect right now, it's weird when like I'll sit down and my Xbox turns on, and it looks for where I am in the room. And
Yeah,
finds me.
it's creepy, but I guess you get used to it after all. For one,
I don't really care.
It's never really bothered me. A lot of people are making that like a big sticking point with it, you know. But as far as Microsoft dropping the bomb on all this nonsense about the friends list crap and the authentication, that's the part that's really getting under my skin because I'm not rich by any means, but I can afford either console. I am comfortable enough that I can, and the games aren't going to make a big difference to me. And to tell you the truth, if I buy a game used and then I had to pay $5 or $10 to activate it, that's not going to make a world of difference either. But if I'm buying it used, I'm trying to save $5 or $10 or $15. I got 3 kids. You know what I mean? I need to do that. And that's where everybody else is at, too, with that. Why would you want to buy a used game and then have to pay extra money to activate it or make it active or usable? So I really think that. But that's the synopsis though of what happened. With those 2 consoles, is that everybody now is going, holy. Everybody who was on the fence is now saying, fuck, the PS4's got it down, man. But realistically, they're just giving us what we've come to expect the last two plus decades anyway. You buy a game and you bring it over to your buddy's house, or I have a few Xboxes in my house. My son wants to play it, or my wife wants to play one in the living room. There shouldn't be a problem.
Well, I think that's what actually gave Sony the advantage this time around, is because I almost liken it to sports. Not that I'm a huge sports fanatic, but when the underdog has got something to prove, it's like watch out, because the guys who played top dog for a while are comfortable. And
absolutely.
Xbox was really comfortable with their position and ranking, especially who knows what kind of intel they have, but maybe thinking, okay, well, they're not going to start a paid service. Well, they are, and now that's going to improve their online platform. And basically, Sony's, the thing we got to realize about Sony too is they've been around for a long time, and they're a good hardware company, and they've been innovators in the industry since forever since. With them not being as profitable and being so much on the edge now too, plus playing this kind of this catch-up game now with realizing all the holes from the last generation's release. I think they fucking played their shit right, dude. They absolutely I'm like a believer now. I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm all jazzed up, because $400 is a lot more feasible for me to do right now.
And if it's going to have similar content and everything like that, and they're both going to do similar things anyway, as in regards to the add-on stuff and everything else, But ultimately, when you look at both of those, I think that Sony, they were in the forefront since the PlayStation 1. They were the clear winners in the PlayStation 2 generation. I think they sold 220 or 280 million units. I mean, it was insane. Nintendo was flat on its back. Sega, they put Sega out of business. Now they just make software.
Rest in peace.
And
yeah, I was a Sega guy. I didn't.
So was I, buddy. I love the Dreamcast, Nintendo. Man. I always loved Nintendo and Sega. Loved them both, and then eventually had to go over to Sony. But with the PlayStation 2, they experienced, a lot of success, and they got to be the fat and bloated ones, because when the PS3 came out, the price point was ridiculous. The software wasn't there. I mean, it was a debacle. The launch, so somebody got trampled or killed or shot for their PS3. Just, it was bad coming out of the gate.
By the way,
but they sat around the last 6 years back of the bus, I think, and said, you know what, man, we're going to listen to what we're going to figure out. We're going to learn from our mistakes. Ultimately, It looks like, and you don't see a lot of huge companies like that really doing that. These multi-billion-dollar worldwide.
I saw an interesting article once that was like Sega Dreamcast ahead of its time, and it showed the big Dreamcast controller next to the original Xbox controller, and it showed
I love Dreamcast.
Dude, the Dreamcast, I thought it probably was a little bit ahead of its time. It had internet connectability, no other system.
Killer, man. You could play.
It was ahead of its time.
Yeah, but you could play
NFL 2K online.
You could play Sega. What was it? Super Nintendo online. The first Killer Instinct.
Really?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
They have Killer Instinct on Xbox, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I was going to
that.
talk about next. Yeah, go on. There was a little adapter you would buy. You'd plug in your friggin' 56K. You'd plug in your 56. It would go into where the cartridge would go. The cartridge would go on top. You'd plug in your 56K modem to this thing, and you'd be able to play Killer Instinct online.
Are you
that was
shitting
one of
me?
the first games. No, I swear to
There's
God.
4 guys online.
Yeah, I was going to say, because
It was the worst connectivity in the world.
Yeah, I was going to say, and it must have not been marketed very well, because I was really big into games, especially when Super Nintendo came out. I mean, I was saving for and buying my own stuff. I was right around 6th, 7th grade, I think it was, and I don't even remember ever hearing about that. Either that, or maybe I did hear about it, but it was just ways it's just so out there that you're like, there's no way I could play with somebody from not right in front of me and next to me in my room.
Internet's
blow up your mind. It's such intense.
And then when Sony came out with the Dreamcast, it was that whole internet thing. That was huge, but I mean, it wasn't the first. It wasn't the innovator.
But I mean, I think just in terms of when you look at what they had out there for that time, it just kind of resonated of all what we ended up with in future generation consoles.
So speaking of Killer Instinct, what do you guys think about that? That's a day one launch for the Xbox One.
I'd love to play that.
And it comes with one character. Every other character you want, you have to purchase.
Oh, you purchase them, you don't unlock them?
No, you have to purchase them.
What the fuck?
Well, that's the whole premise we were talking about in that article. Remember, it's that the only way for them to make their money back is for them to $1 character.
That's
I guarantee you the characters aren't going to be $1.
Yeah, they're going to be more like, I'd say
400
$4 or
fucking
$5
Microsoft
a
points.
piece.
They're gonna be 400 Microsoft points.
Nope, Microsoft is going away with the points too.
Yeah, I read
Thank
that
God.
too.
Thank God.
Yeah, that Sony did away with
because
that,
it's the most half-assed conversion system either.
Yeah, the conversion is so
You know, it's like,
I know, it's so
80
fucking
points
It's like
stupid.
doing like
an
American to
hour.
Euros or some shit.
Yeah.
I don't know what
What is it?
who
$5
trimmed
for
that one.
400?
$5 for 400.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
80
I mean, why
points-
wouldn't it be
80 points
500
to
for
the
500
dollar.
or $5 for 500? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the reason
It's
that
to
it was
confuse
originally,
children, right?
well, I don't know if it's to confuse children, but I think it's also because originally you could only buy them in 1,600 point blocks. That was the minimum that you could buy. You could buy a card at the store, or you could buy it online. Now you can buy as little as 400 points, in one transaction. You can use PayPal, everything else. When they first came out, man, it was a thing for the parents to go and your kid's like, oh, I need to buy this, and and they could only buy 1,600.
It's like a lunch money card.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And it's like, well, how much does this $20 get me? And it's like 1,600 points, Mom. And it's like, well, that sounds like a lot, So,
I
They should
always hate
play
it
it
with
the other way then. They should be like 2,500.
You know what?
I'm
curious to find out. I almost wonder if they're gonna have like sales drop off and little mini purchases like avatars and stuff, because you know what? Guys like me only purchase that shit when they have some odd number of points left over.
Yeah,
from
that's
it,
the same thing here.
right. I mean, that's the only time I ever waste money on that shit, because I'm like, this 200 or 160 points has been sitting for
Yeah, I
fucking
bought
ever.
a dog. That was it.
Yeah. That's the same
Oh,
thing.
you
I
bought
bought a
the
dog
dog?
and a surfboard. Yeah.
Well, it was a Yorkie, and I have a Yorkie at home, so I was like, fuck it.
And I got the husky because it looked just like Charlie Dog. It was so funny.
Yeah.
Your dog's name's Charlie?
Yeah.
Same here. We just got a puppy, little Shih Tzu.
Char.
Charlie.
Oh, right on. Charlie Dog. Charlie. He's fucking passed out over there.
He just
King
licked his
Charles is
balls.
napping.
Who doesn't pass out after you get your balls licked?
shadows. That's how
Give
he's
his
sleeping.
balls a good washing.
Exactly. Every time my balls get a good washing, I'm out for a day.
Dude, every time I see a dog licking its balls, I get all jelly, man. I wish I could fucking do that.
I know, man. That'd be
You can't
beautiful,
do that?
man.
Every time I try, I fall off the couch.
No, wait, is
man,
this true or not? I remember hearing when I was a kid that Marilyn Manson got a couple ribs removed so he could suck his own dick. Is that
Oh,
actually
yeah,
true?
man. That was a huge thing.
Yeah, I heard about that. I mean,
Because then after
It's
I
not
heard that, I was
cheating.
like 8. I was like, you can't do that? And I like tried, and I couldn't.
And then Jim walked in.
What the fuck?
what the hell
This
is
is
wrong
how
with you,
you.
boy?
This is how you do it, Surf.
Yeah.
Most people like save huge embarrassing things for personal stories, but I'm like, hey, let's talk about it in front of,
You
potentially
gotta tuck your left leg up
Potentially
behind your
3
head over
people.
there. That helps to force her down.
That's funny.
God.
Oh,
So,
shit.
what was everybody else's impressions, though? Did anybody
Well, okay.
take a look at some of the conferences, either
I
on
mean,
Spike TV or streaming
Yeah,
online?
I
or...
watched all of the Xbox ones and a few PS3 ones. Did someone just fart?
Oh, that was my chair.
Oh.
Dude, I need to get some WD-40 for my fucking chair.
But no, actually, that's just me farting, Jeff. Sorry.
Fuck, if I have a fart, I'll stand up right in the mic.
Do
I
it.
just do it, and then it gets really quiet, and people just kind of like stop talking for a split second.
Dude, it's because yours are so distinct, they don't sound like anything I've ever heard. It's really bizarre.
Well, what I did, just to get back on topic, is I was actually just excited about E3. I never really have considered the PS4 ever, just because, PS4 is more RPG based. I do enjoy playing some games like what was that RPG? Drake or what was it called?
Pokemon?
Uncharted.
Uncharted. So I played the
Yeah.
first two
Oh, yeah.
That
Uncharted.
series is good. It's Indiana Jones meets like Tomb Raider, Lara Croft type
Yeah.
deal. Very cool.
But I mean, I've never really. I mean, the extra $100. I know it's going to the Kinnect. I know it's going to like certain services. The pass through for HDMI is kind of gimmicky. Kinnect. The only concern that really was brought to my attention is just the fact that I don't care if it's staring at me. I just it's a little concerning when it comes down to like. You heard about the Verizon just magically like gave the rights to the government to like spy on you, and then like what if Microsoft gives rights for people to spy on you, and then before you know it, like
And not just that, but hackers. That people can actually hack your camera and see your shit. Like, what if I'm getting a blowy down here, right in front of my fucking TV
well, that's
Yeah.
every
fine.
night, and
Who
then
doesn't
I'm
get
not
blowies
concerned
right in
about
front of
that.
their TV?
I just don't want to
like
be
I just don't
barraged.
want fucking chubby checkers over there on his security monitor, whatever he's doing, fucking rubbing one
Well,
out.
the worst
and me
thing
getting
I could think of is Microsoft getting too headstrong, and then like before you know it, like you have your apps or whatever that are really quick, like how you can do Twitch TV and Skype and stuff like that. Now all of a sudden you're gonna have like fucking ads like streaming down the side of your thing, and I'm just concerned that it's like then you're on the internet and you're like, you go on Amazon and it's like, oh, recommended for you, like all these things that you talked about, you know, like very.
I think that's what's everything's going towards anyway, though, man. I just, you know, and unfortunately too, it's just as far as people being paranoid about with the cameras and everything, I kind of get that on one hand, but on the other hand, man, we're just living in a connected world that's just moving faster than anybody can realize anyway. I mean, you know, you're worried about a device being on all the time and everything else. Yeah, you get a cell phone that you have sitting in your pocket or next to you almost all the time, right? I mean, those
right
devices,
next to your penis.
Those devices can be hacked as well with the cameras and everything else and whatnot. And from what I hear, it's actually easier than, you know, getting into someone's actual like webcam or you know, or that sort of thing. I don't know because I'm not familiar with that type of that level of
Brian's
hacking.
actually staring at all of us right now.
I was gonna say, nor do I feel I'm interesting enough to ever warrant that type of attention from anybody. And if somebody does want to watch me on the off chance that I am getting a blowy, hey, have fun, man. You know.
Sure.
So I was gonna say, you know, so go ahead and tape it, show all your friends, whatever. I mean, I don't know. I guess I just look at it as like it's the world we live in. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I never thought even. I mean, my biggest concern right now isn't so much like Xbox or PS3. I don't think. I mean, people should pick what they want. I'm more concerned of two things. Like, first of all, I'm concerned about how, for some reason, the backwards compatibility to used games, which actually used game isn't too bad because if you actually looked into it, if you give rights to a used game, like if you want to give it to someone else, then you can actually give the rights to that person so they can use it. And
okay.
And for like, so for example, just in case the viewers, if you don't know, you need to be a Xbox Live friend with someone for 30 days. Then you can actually give the game with like you know, imaginary key, right? So you can give the access rights to them. Then they officially own the game. You officially don't own the game and cannot play it anymore. And then for family situations, I believe if you buy a copy and you have like gamer tags, you can have up to 10 gamer tags on like one billing address or something.
Okay.
Every single person can play on that game. So with used games, I think you can give it to GameStop for a trade-in, and then they can sell that used game one time, and then after that the game's dead. Like when you give the game to someone,
and then
it can be given once, and then it dies with that person. So,
you know, my thing is to be honest though. I know that Microsoft is trying to cover all their bases and make it simple, but like I think success, because it's just like nature, favors simplicity, right? Like that jab commercial that came out for PlayStation, where it's like how to share a game with your friend. It's like step one. He's like, here, buddy, just hands him the game. Like it's that simple, right? Well, with Xbox, it's like it's hard to fathom someone in a situation who have more than 10 gamer tags for the family sharing, or like a problem with sharing a friend because of like, you know, the code or whatever. Well, it's just the whole fact that it's an extra step in the process, and I think people are turned off by that.
Yeah, I don't agree with it, but I mean they're at least trying to accommodate. But I mean, when it comes to you guys too, I know you guys are just doing it for sake of argument sometimes, but remember, you guys are the guys that buy most of the games and take that gamble. I'm the one that like is like, fuck that, I'm just gonna red box that shit. So I mean, I'm the one probably that's gonna get screwed off of it. So
I buy almost nothing new. Like maybe 2 titles a year, 3 titles a year I'll buy new.
Now, and I'm the opposite. I mean, I have 3 kids, and we buy a lot of games. A lot of them are games that they want. There's some of them that are games that I kind of want, but I use them as an excuse to explain the experience to my wife. Like, you know, really wanted that.
Packed animals.
You know. And or you know, I got that because it's got some co-op, and I haven't been spending a lot of time with them lately. We're gonna sit down, we're gonna play. It's gonna be a good father-son time.
Yeah.
So, and then there's a few that I'm just straight out like, I'm buying that because I want it. You know, The Last of Us came out today. I'm gonna go buy that just because it looks great, and I think it's gonna be awesome, and I want it. You know, but we buy a ton, probably a couple dozen games a year, I would say, and we don't sell a whole lot of stuff either. You know, so. But what I did like, though, and if anybody saw any of the conferences from Microsoft was, and I don't know what Sony's going to do with this because I didn't actually see the whole conference. I saw part of the stream for it, but Xbox is doing a lot with the Xbox Smart Glass technology that you can use with an iPad or a
right.
What's that?
If you have an iPad or a touchscreen device or whatever. Well, as far as the game goes, I wasn't talking about that, but I was talking about now what you can actually do is supposedly you can actually record gameplay. And you can actually then go and record. You can edit it right on the Smart Glass or right on the Xbox if you wish with your controller. Or you can use a touchscreen device, touchscreen enabled device, and just do it, I guess, much easier on that. And you can actually record your own commentary over it and everything else, and then you can actually post it right to Twitch TV, or save it and then obviously upload it to YouTube later on if that's something that does. I don't know how extensive it's going to be. It's probably going to be a very basic run-of-the-mill editing program, but it seems pretty cool. It really does. It seems like it's going to make it real easy to do it. So.
But Jim, speaking of the smart glass, I mean, did you see that one? I forgot what the game is called, but it's where you can actually, it's just a game where you can create games, and then you can share it on like the cloud or something, and then people can either alter it or they can just play your game, and you can. It's
almost like a Minecraft, but like the graphics are actually like legitimately, it's good, and you build a world and a game within that world. You put the story in and everything else, and then you can actually put that persistent world out there for others to create, add to, play within, or whatever the case is. And it looked like it was all handled through the smart glass thing. So I don't know if it's going to be like an Xbox Live Arcade game or what, but it did look really cool what they were doing. And I know all that stuff is pre-rehearsed and everything, how they do it and all that, but the way the different people were interacting during the demo with each other, it looked really, really neat. So
that's cool.
I thought it was definitely worth taking a look at. So
I mean, shying away from the actual console or the console war or like the differences. I mean, just looking at the games and what's coming out. I mean, let's talk about that for a little bit, because I thought, like, regardless of what you choose in the exclusives, I mean, there's really cool games that are coming out, and I just want to start by saying that, last time we were talking about kind of being bored. I actually want to give Battlefield a chance over Call of Duty Ghosts. That's kind of a statement.
Sure, it looks great. Really looks great. Everything I've seen so far and heard about Battlefield 4 looks phenomenal. And I don't know. I mean, that might be a company too, where they're tired of playing second fiddle to to Activision and Call of Duty, and Call of Duty keeps repackaging the same shit, and don't get me wrong.
Not only that, they're treating the YouTubers really well too.
Oh yeah, that's what I've heard as well. Yeah, Battlefield 4 is bringing them in, and hey, come on and take a look.
The problem with David Vonderhaar is that he overvalues the pro realm and undervalues the YouTubers, which I think, to be honest, a lot of the continued interest in Call of Duty comes from YouTubers, because it's a fad game. So what happens, there's droves of new kids coming in, they suck, and they go to YouTube to figure it out, discover commentators. I mean, isn't that almost exactly how all of us got involved with YouTube? I mean, I know that's the case for me. How about you, eBabs? How'd you get, starting watching YouTube videos?
Same process. I heard about COD commentators through a couple of my buddies and checked it out, and my first really taste of watching any commentaries was watching Woody's gamertag series. I think it's called Dissecting the Greats, and have you seen that? It's awesome. And
super good.
I was a very, very average player, casual player at the time, and after watching that series, I picked up on things that I never even would have thought of. So, it was cool applying those techniques to my own game and improving my skill set within the game, and that's why, like you said, I'll tell you this. I'll watch a commentary, and even if I'm sick as shit of the game, I'll be like, damn, I got some motivation to go on there and try something new. And
totally.
I think it keeps the game alive. I'm still playing. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, for a while when I was really into Modern Warfare 3, and I was getting really good kill to deaths, Joe was just starting out, but I mean, sometimes I think I was going 60-5 or something, insane. But then I never got a Moab for the first 6 months, and I was so frustrated. So I went on and I was trying to figure out YouTube how to get an easy Moab, and they had these really easy breakdowns to show you the spawn locations of everyone for free-for-alls and team deathmatch and one like that.
What is a Moab, and how do you get it?
Moab
Mother of all bombs.
Baby.
You get 25 kills in a row. You set off this Moab, and then it just blows and kills everyone up, and everything goes dark and orange.
I'm just wondering what it stood for,
It actually stands for Massive Ordnance Atomic Blast or something.
But long story short, to go off of what you were saying, eBabs, is I played for 3 hours straight, 4 hours straight. I was tired. My girlfriend was in bed. I was just talking to someone, and then I just jump on. I'm like, fuck it. I'm gonna play the new maps because it's when they had the new DLC for Modern Warfare 3. I played one of the new maps where it has like the staircases in the top, the second level. I just went ahead and I killed like 30 people in a row, got my first Moab, and just like let it off, and it just felt awesome. And it was just
man,
it was just
I can relate.
It was just so fluid, and I was just like, wow, like if I didn't get on right now, I'd probably never get it. And then like it's funny because my friend John, who never got one, like the next day he got one because he was just like so pissed when I got one.
I remember my first Moab. Again, I was on a new map, not very familiar, and I'm sure the rest of the other players weren't very familiar, just to its, it being new. And when I got to like 15 kills, my heart was pumping, man. Yeah. And I'm like sitting in my seat like, holy shit. And,
so intense.
I know, I got 25 and like, man, it was crazy. I told my buddies, I'm like, I don't even get that fucking rush when I'm about to compete. Like, what the fuck? I'm getting that rush out of a video game? Like, Jesus.
I've actually shut off the console before because I've had heart palpitations after a match. I'm not kidding, dude. Like, because I don't know if it might be that like heart problem. Sorry, I'm fucking eating like a fucking slob here, but I'm hungry. Dude, it's the first, like, my appetite's been so fucking off and on because of the super flu over the weekend. I had like H1N1 coming out of my eyes.
I fucking had it, dude.
Dude, it was fucking rude. But so when I can eat, I'm eating. That's my excuse. But anyways, what the fuck? I just blacked out for a second. What were we talking about?
The adrenaline rush.
How you turn off the console?
I don't know if it's like because heart problems sort of kind of might run in my family, but I get like heart palpitations every once in a while, and my heart was like beating so fast, and then it started like skipping and shit, and I was like, I need to fucking chill the fuck out. My hands were getting tingly and shit. But like, I've never gotten a MOB or even close, and
you got an AC-130.
Yeah, that was pretty good for me. What was that, 15 or something?
Yeah, something along those lines. It's points. They did points in that game, but it's not necessarily the same as they do in Black Ops 2. Excuse me.
No, it was kills in the last game. It's points in this game.
It was. I think it was still. Was it kills or no? I think it was.
It was kills / points. If you killed like a chopper, it could. You
get like, but like capping a flag was worth 100.
A Moab was kills only, but everything else was points based.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, my game's improved significantly. I explained it in one commentary once, but like my excuse is that I didn't have the new generation console until like several years after it came out, so I missed all the next gen shooters, and I didn't play online, and so like I missed probably like a 4-year window of building skills. So when I jumped on my first Call of Duty title was Modern Warfare 3, and I think like I started out with like a 0.6 ratio, and I think I ended up with like close to a 0.9. And then on this one, I got my shit up to like starting out like a 1.2, 1.3 for a little while, and then I just started dicking around because I find a few classes that work, and then I find if I'm not using those classes, I play like shit. And then I'm like, well, what's the fucking point? I'm not going to play the game just to do one thing over and over again.
Right.
So I make ridiculous classes, and I stopped giving a shit about KD, and now I'm like back to like 0.9.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you're enjoying the game, that's the important thing.
That's my whole thing.
Because I've never gotten into Call of Duty as much competitively as you guys have, but I had a few buddies that I played a lot of Gears of War. Played a lot of Gears 1 when Gears 2 was just about to come out, and then Gears 2 and 3. And but I know what you guys are talking about as far as the adrenaline rush goes. I mean, when you're in a tight match, or whatever case. I used to play in the evening time after the kids went to bed. And I'd finish up, sometimes at 1, 2 in the morning, and I could not wind down and fall asleep for an hour or two because I was jacked, man. I mean, I would be sitting there in bed, like tossing and turning. My wife was like, "What in the fuck is wrong with you?" And she's a person who sleeps through anything, and she was just like, "What? Is there something wrong with you?" I just can't get settled, And I was just replaying matches in my head,
That's why you gotta smoke a gorilla finger, man, and go to sleep.
Yeah, that'll put you right down.
Yeah, I'm getting older though, man. I want to be able to make sure I can wake up in the morning, man.
Dude, I couldn't smoke a whole G finger myself either, though. So don't worry about it. That's crazy. I'm sorry. What were you gonna say, Babs?
Oh yeah, no, I was just gonna relate. I remember, really, my first experience with really diving deep into the whole Call of Duty franchise was with Modern Warfare 2, and that happened to be my freshman year at college, and my roommate was like really intense into it, did the whole game battle thing, and kind of got me into it. And I remember like I would play for hours on end, and then when I would have to go do something like go to class or practice or whatever, I'd be like walking down the street and like see fucking enemies. And it's like I was glued to the screen for so long that I was like in the fucking game, like, you know.
It's actually really creepy.
It's like when you go to Great America all day, and then afterwards you feel like you're still on the roller coaster when you're in the car later on and stuff like that. You know, you were still in Call of Duty land.
Well, I had experience like that too. I mean, when in Modern Warfare 3, which I played the absolute most of, I think I played like 18 days. I was like Prestige 11, but I should have been like 14 or 15.
You guys don't even want to know the days I have on BO2 right now.
But
30 plus. Go ahead.
Holy shit, dude.
The thing is I would play for like, you know, Joe, you used to play with us, you know, I used to have a clan, and I used to have my buddies, and like I would honestly just get home, play like a clan match, 3 hours straight, and then play like 3 more hours, and then I'd go to bed, and as I close my eyes, I'd be closing my eyes and just picturing myself like spawning and like going through the motion.
Oh god.
It was like really
See,
weird.
like the most I've ever had tolerance and or time for Call of Duty has been like, at my worst, I was playing like a couple hours, 2-3 hours a night with you, Tim. So, you know, times probably 4 days a week I was doing that, so like 12 hours a week maybe.
That's only half of what I played that week.
Like, I wish I had more time for video games. I just don't. Like, the way my schedule is with everything, like, it's... The other thing that sucks, too, is it's not just video games. But there's a few videos I want to make that I haven't had an easy time making because I only have enough time to work on the video that's coming out the next day, like, which sucks. You know? Like, there's plenty that, like, I'm like, okay, I'm going to start working on this now. Like, there's a Woody's Gamertag song that I wrote a long time ago that I was like, I'm gonna wait to release because like I just did the ad and I don't want people to think I'm like a Woody's dick sucker. Like I don't want my channel to be like all about that. Like I love Woody, but I want people to be here for Surfed Up Entertainment, you know. So I was like, I'm gonna wait a little bit and do it. It'll give me some time to work on the video. I haven't worked on it yet, and I know it'll be one of those things where like, okay, I'm gonna release it Friday, so I'm gonna work on it Thursday night, all fucking night, you know. Like I don't have time to have planning and shit. It sucks, you know. Like already as it is, if I want to do anything other than commentaries, like I have to plan ahead, like the week ahead, like what my shooting schedule is going to be, what my audio editing schedule is going to be, like all that shit. So it's just it's a lot, you know. But what can you do?
I feel you. Yeah.
Now, eBabs, you've had a channel for what? Just over a month now, is it? Around a month,
I think I'm on like my 5th week.
Okay, and you've got quite a few videos uploaded yourself, so you've
got like 30 more videos than I do.
How is your schedule like? Well, his are mostly all, as far as what I've seen, are you've got a few of them that are kind of how-tos and stuff, which are actually very good, by the way. I'm going to make myself one of those pop filters probably this coming week, but a lot of them, the majority of them are commentary-based ones that are over gameplay ones, and actually I enjoy some of them. The story time one is kind of nice, tell a personal story from life. I think it is. But how are things for you as far as it goes? Do you try to plan things out real far in advance, or you just kind of try to see how many you can throw out there, and some weeks it's more or less based on your other life schedule, or what, as far as school and things like that?
Okay, so, when I first started, I did some research on what, based on other people's experience and what they did, and a lot of what I read was this concept of you pushing out a lot of content early and focusing on quantity rather than quality. And so I was like tirelessly working and just pumping out videos for the first 2 weeks to where I was nearly at 50 videos in that 2-week time span. So as you can imagine, because you guys know how that process is, making a video takes some time. And so I just went to town, and just this past week is when I started. I actually uploaded a channel schedule where I mapped out what's going to be uploaded each day, and came to the to the realization that pushing out 3 or 4 videos a day is not productive at this point in my YouTube life. I should I don't know.
Yeah, totally. You've got a good library up now, so like you can totally pace yourself the way you want now.
Yeah, right. So that was my thought process, and the only kind of negative thing is that some of the earlier videos, one, I was new, so they're not that great.
Yeah.
And 2, they may seem forced, but I think now that I'm on a good schedule, my videos are, have a bit more quality to them. And I'm getting the feel for it, and the fact of the matter is, I enjoy really every second, of making them. So it's
yeah, that's the fun part, dude.
enjoyed.
I never thought that I'd like editing as much as I do. Like that's my favorite part, is just sitting down. Like maybe too because of the type of content I make. Like I just laugh at myself. Like
I do too. I find myself just cracking up.
Totally, and it's like we're the first several times you're in front of the camera. Like I did too many cuts and shit before I learned to just let it roll. And if I have 15 minutes of footage, that's fine. Like I can edit out all of that shit. Like if people actually saw what videos look like before they got put up, they'd be like horrified.
Oh yeah, no.
It took me like 5 or 6 weeks to record and get ready the first 5 videos I launched my channel with. I knew I wanted it. Like, in fact, the only reason I waited to have 5 videos is because I heard Woody say Woody was going to start another channel of like some cinematographer type shit, and he was like, yeah, before I launch a channel, I'm going to wait till I have like 10 or 15 videos because nobody wants to watch a channel with just one video.
Right.
I was like, oh, okay, good pointer, so I started, like, I signed up for my account. And then, like I said, it took me 5 or 6 weeks to produce those first 5 or 6 videos. And it was mostly just because making time for, like, this new thing in my life. And then once I went live, it was like, oh, shit, this shit's on, man. Like, I have to fucking...
That's how I feel.
Like...
on, baby.
I did five videos in 6 weeks, and now I have to do 5 videos this week. Like, it was just, like... but, yeah, I like doing commentaries. I might phase more into that. It's just... I like doing music stuff, but it's finding the time to shoot is a pain in the ass. I like just doing commentaries because it's so easy.
Jim, have you started your channel yet, or are you still working with that?
No, I haven't actually. I've started recording some gameplays and then played around with just some of the different editing. The stuff in the Elgato software is pretty basic, and then I've also been working towards teaching myself how to use Photoshop, not just for thumbnails, but for other various things as well, because I've actually been drawing a lot more too. So, but I want to have it out by my birthday, which is July 8th. So. Should have it up and running, and and have a decent amount of content to start some things off. So,
Sean, are you masturbating again?
You're eerily quiet.
Rubbing one out.
You're quiet as fuck today, dude.
It's like 15 times.
Well, I think it's because it's almost Father's Day, and he just wants to like yell about that. He's saving it for him.
I did see
the
that.
Hallmark holiday.
When I went to pick up my beer, I saw the goddamn Hallmark cards, and I was like, motherfucker. But I decided to keep it to myself.
It's funny because Sean gives off this vibe that he walks around angry all the time. But when you get to know Sean, you don't even have to get to know him. If you just hang out with Sean on a regular basis, he's a positive person all the time. It's the weirdest thing, dude.
I fucking hate Hallmark holiday.
I don't mean happy. I just mean you're very positive. Like
I don't mean happy.
You don't. It's not like you breathe, like you exude lightness. Like you're light as a feather. But well, no, I guess that is kind of what I'm trying to say. Is like, do you take everything in stride? Like the biggest thing that rubbed off on me is Sean's credo towards life is like
rubbed off.
Sean's credo towards life is just. It is what it is, and he's totally like neutral about everything. It's kind of refreshing.
It is. It is what it is, man. What the fuck? I can't control Dick. I can't control what you're gonna do. I can't control what anyone's gonna do. So what the fuck?
Well,
man?
you can control a dick like nobody's fucking business.
Oh man, I can control 2 of them at the same time, man.
Double fist.
Well, Sean, why don't you fucking pick a topic, Mr. Sourpuss, Quiet Pouty Pants?
No, it's been going. It's good. Today. Sometimes I feel like I just ramble on, but I do. I have an issue with Jimmy John's. Okay.
I thought you were just gonna stop with Jimmy. I was like, all right, let's talk about Jim.
I have an issue with Jim. I have an issue with Jim.
Wouldn't be the first person or time.
So
today.
So by now everybody knows I work retail. Okay. We had inventory last week on Thursday and Friday. So we're like, hey, let's get something for the crew that's there for inventory. So we ordered Jimmy John's. Okay. I drive on over. I pick up a menu. Okay, I bring the menu back, and they offer their what is it? I think it's like a lunchbox thing where you get a sandwich, chips, a pickle, and the cookie for X amount of dollars. So
you were waiting for that pickle, weren't you?
Oh, man, dude! I took all the other associates' pickles and one big pickle, and I just downed it, man. I just
one giant deep throat.
Oh yeah, I did, man. And so like the box lunches were like $6.99, $7.99, $8.99. They were like the 3 different style sandwiches. So, we go ahead, we order them, we go pick them up. Miraculously, when we get there, every sandwich box had went up $2 per box. So the $6.99 was the $8.99. The $7.99 was $9.99. So, you know, we asked to talk to the manager. It was a new owner. Wouldn't even come out and say anything. He just says, it says at the bottom, he sends his employee back out and says, at the bottom of the menu, it says prices are subject to change.
Oh, wow.
So guess what you can do, Jimmy John's? You could suck my fucking dick.
My problem with Jimmy John's is it tastes like something that you can make in your own kitchen.
Yeah, it's not
shitty dog meat.
It's not super different
but
anyway.
I feel like I can't make that at my house.
But, you know, and a real quick thing that I think is worth noting here, and maybe one of you guys can answer this, is I understand that the taxes vary from, you know, county to county, you know, what the county taxes are, right? So when you go to a place like a fast food place, yeah, state to state as well. But I'm just talking about locally. Country
to country even, too.
When I go to the McDonald's right down the street from me here in Palatine, and I buy 2 Happy Meals for the kids, it's like $8.64, almost $9, $8.84, I think. When I went to the one in Rolling Meadows on Kirchhoff, which is literally 3 miles away from here, it's like $6.40.
Yeah, it's wild, man.
Huge difference. And McDonald's is, you know, I mean, it's a huge corporation. I know that there's franchises and everything else, but for the prices for the same things to vary so much. So your point, Sean, about the Jimmy John's is maybe that's just that one in that area. They think that they can dictate a higher price because of the
menu prices at restaurants typically reflect the area, and I just know that from listening on manager meetings when I worked at Famous Dave's at like rib place. When they're opening new locations, like for instance in Palatine, a slab of ribs was like $24.95. This was like 5-6 years ago.
Right.
Like $25 for it. But like, you know, if it was Cicero, it'd be like $15.95, you know?
And I knew that the prices did vary, but, you know, it was one of those things where a lot of times I'd look at it and I'd think I was crazy. I'd be like, you know, last time we were here or at this other, you know, at the other location, wasn't it like $2 cheaper for this meal? But it's something I never really noticed too much.
You know what was weird is Jordan and I used to always go to the Taco Bell. There's 2 in our town. One that was off of Dundee and one was off Northwest Highway. We used to always go to the one off of Dundee because
it's like 20 cents cheaper.
Yeah, it was like every item was like 20 cents cheaper on the menu.
Yeah, which is really
and they're in the same town.
Yeah, well, I mean they're literally you know, a mile and a half from each other, on the other side of town.
Yeah,
so I just thought that was kind of odd, you know, because it wasn't, you know, the difference wasn't because of the tax, you know, or like when you buy something in Woodfield, like there's the tax, and then like Woodfield has its own like extra 2 or 2.5% tax. So when you come out of there, when all's said and done, you're paying like 11% tax or something, you know.
Story time.
So I wasn't even talking about that.
Story time.
Story time.
Story time. Story time.
You like that?
Sean, you have the floor.
Well, no, it's not me. It's for eBabs.
Oh no shit. Okay.
What's
that? Sharing the video, but
I'll give you my little story time with fucking Jimmy John's. So, you know, we travel. For those of you who don't know, I'm on the track team at my university, and we travel every weekend, oftentimes for 3 days out of the week, and you know they have to feed us. And at the meets, every fucking time, they order Jimmy John's. And what they do is they order it at like 8 in the fucking morning. So, you know, it's terrible. The sandwiches sit out there all day in the heat. They put like the dog shit meat on there and like lettuce that has to be 5 days old. And, you know, it's terrible. You know, you're gearing up to have a good competition or whatever, and they have to eat that garbage. And that just threw me way off of Jimmy John's. Because, you know, I remember a time when I would go to fucking Jimmy John's, order the gargantuan, and enjoy it. And now I can't even fucking do that because, ugh.
Dude, I encourage everyone to find a good local deli spot. Like, I took Sean there recently to the one by my house. It's called
Wait.
What's up?
Okay.
He knows it, I bet you.
I just had I fucking don't know the name of this. So I'm from Mount Prospect, which is neighboring Palatine. I know you guys know that, but
yeah.
My girlfriend's dad works at the high school. He coaches, and he brought home these sandwiches. I forget what it's on this pizza bread. It's fucking delicious.
Dude, is it on focaccia?
Yes.
Dude, it's from Capri. I can almost guarantee.
Capri, that's it.
Yeah, dude, I live directly behind Capri. I shouldn't be saying this. There's somebody online that's gonna be like,
fucking shank your ass, man.
Maybe they'll send me a pizza like they do to Woody. Yeah, dude, like. I was gonna say we gotta, since we're like, you know, we're local anyways, we gotta kick it sometime anyways. Maybe when we do it.
Oh yeah, we definitely do.
But I'll take you to Capri, bro. Like that's you know what's really unfortunate is like that focaccia sandwich is the tits, right? It's the best, like freshest, like you can't beat their ingredients, right? The problem, I just got the stomach flu.
I creamed my pants when I ate it.
Oh, dude, it's crazy. But I got the stomach flu on Saturday. Guess what I had Saturday fucking for lunch? Capri.
Capri's.
So like now I'm like, fuck. Like I love Capri, but I don't even want to smell that place right now because I just puked it all
Oh, I
out.
feel you, man. I had that a couple weeks ago, man. It was brutal. Coming out both ends.
Dude, both ends kind of weekend, bro.
I never get sick, by the way.
What's that?
I never get sick.
You don't?
Never.
It's
You're
I haven't been sick. I've been sick in like 2.5 years. It's so weird.
I have a buddy who claims he's never had a headache. I'm like,
That's stupid.
shit.
I had a headache yesterday, and then I ate Chipotle, and I felt great.
Oh man,
Maybe he's
Chipotle.
got a tiny
Don't get me
brain
started.
because they say that like headaches have mostly to do with like when your brain is slightly swollen inside your skull because it's irritated, or like because the fluid between your brain and your skull, when that's too pressurized, it creates tension. At least that's my understanding of some types of headaches. So maybe
Yeah,
he's
I
just
get headaches often, so maybe I'm a fucking genius.
It's your body telling you,
could be
fuck
it.
you, I want something. It's like a
could be
little baby crying in your head.
Yeah.
I want soda, I want caffeine, I want fat.
I want a blowjob.
I think it's fascinating. Side note is, my friend in college, he decided he wanted to like cut fast food and fat out of his diet. Within like a week, he like became like the crabbiest person ever, and it was like completely awful. I never believed that diet could like ruin your personality, but I'm convinced people that are like dieting and like girls that like don't eat properly, like,
Bitch.
they almost like morph into like this new like being of like complete shit personality.
Dude, I've been there, man. You know, if I'm trying to, you know, get back in shape for, you know, the upcoming season or whatever, there's times where, you know, I'll do some sort of the caveman diet where it's meat and veggies for 2 weeks straight just to clean out the system. And I'll tell you, man, I get fucking terrible headaches. I'm in a terrible mood. All I want to do is sleep because you get those, you know, you get that fast energy from the shitty carbs, you know, and it's brutal.
Dude, like my whole fucking nut was flipped upside down when I did HCG. I'll give like a brief synopsis for viewers. Like HCG, I can't be brief
Is
about
this a
HCG.
drug?
It sounds like it. Here's the skinny on HCG. No pun intended. Pun intended. So HCG, I forget what it stands for. Something ridiculous. Here's basically what it is. It's a hormone found in the urine of pregnant women, and some doctor discovered it because he was working in Africa and he was wondering why malnourished women were having perfectly healthy weight babies. And it has to do with the properties of HCG. Basically what they've discovered is HCG, it doesn't cause you to lose weight. It allows you to lose weight. If you have a restricted calorie diet and you eat the right things, you burn like a pound of fat a day. And I can attest to that because I lost 40 pounds in 40 days and I've kept it off.
Holy shit.
It's fucking crazy.
I've
dude.
tried it too, but it didn't really work out.
Well, you cheated your ass off. You were like, fuck that. I can't have carrots. I'm going to eat carrots anyway.
Well, it's like don't eat certain fruits and vegetables, and I'm like, well,
It's totally
that doesn't
bizarre.
work logically with me.
You know what?
I mean, I lost 12 pounds, but then I gained like 8 back.
Yeah.
I'm currently down about 30, and not in a good way. Like I said, I got injured earlier and had been out of the weight room. I'm finally getting back in there, and I was up to 273 pounds at Nationals last year, and I'm down to, I think today I weighed in about 244. There you go, hitting the gym.
I
But
bought a
yeah,
World Gym T-shirt for because Dane and Jason they took me to the World Gym again.
Yeah, I haven't been to the
The
gym.
World
in a
Gym
little
over
bit.
on Dundee Road, if you guys know.
oh, I it's right over the overpass, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
where-
I
used to go
that's
there.
my hood right there.
Oh yeah, you know, do you know Zibikowski? You know the Zibikowskis?
I don't think so. I mean, I met a Macedonian guy there that's friends with Jason called Milko, but I don't really know too many people there.
Oh, okay. He just he's a trainer there. His son's in the NFL, plays on the Ravens. I think he's on the Patriots now, but I used to go there for some
So
treatment.
is Tebow.
Tebow's on the Patriots? What the fuck?
You got traded. I think it was yesterday morning, or no, it
No,
was.
he didn't get traded. He signed with them. He got let go by
Well, yeah,
right,
he's
the day
he's
day
not
after
a Patriot.
draft day.
And rumor is he's probably gonna be.
Fullback?
He's going for the quarterback backup, but I mean,
Tight
let's
end.
be real. He's gonna be a tight end when Gronk
Yeah.
isn't gonna get back in time.
Oh yeah,
He's tight end in
definitely.
high school.
I think Gronk's fucked, man. He keeps breaking that shit. It's like, what's that basketball player who was drafted in the first round with them? Or,
Greg Oden.
yeah, who just kept fucking up his shit.
Yeah, that was a rough for the Trailblazers.
Yeah. Poor guy.
Speaking of Jordan, how do you guys feel about Karl Malone picking Scottie Pippen over Michael Jordan as one of his top 5 players?
Oh man, that in my mind,
Dude, he did that intentionally.
It's jealousy.
stirring the pot, baby.
Oh
That's
yeah,
all
I
it
mean,
was.
Carl. The only reason why Carl did that is because Michael Jordan was the one reason why he didn't get 2 rings.
Yep.
Karl Malone. Okay, speaking of wash-ups, I was
The middleman.
I was thinking, you know, it'd be a great product is you can have a shampoo product called like wash-ups, and each different scent could be different celebrity wash-ups. So like one could be like Karl Malone.
Barkley.
You know, one could be, I don't know.
Wash.
I was thinking that today when I was giving my son a bath. It just popped in my head. I was like, genius.
like Hanson Brothers.
Yeah, exactly.
Milli Vanilli brand.
Totally.
Guys, real quick, I stepped away for a minute because I went to actually make myself a drink over here, and my wife is watching the live stream, and I heard everybody talking about the various diets and things like that. Just a couple weeks ago, my wife and I did a 3-day juice cleanse. And,
Nice.
and we didn't do it so much for weight loss, but mainly just to kind of reset the taste buds, and it supposedly helps to clean you out a lot of the toxins, all sort of stuff. Let me tell you, it was really hard. First of all, but giving your body a break from actually like chewing and having to digest food or whatever. It was absolutely insane when we did come back to eating, because when you'd have I had some French fries that my wife had made, some oven fries or whatever with a little bit of salt. And I mean, it was like the first time I'd ever tried salt. I mean, it was just everything has been so
yeah, dude.
popping and flavorful, you know. It's just absolutely amazing.
That's how it was with HCG, dude. Try doing that shit for fucking 40 days when all you've had is like everything is so bland, you know.
You know, my
I
my
can't even
aunt.
imagine for doing that period of time.
That's crazy.
I
My
know,
aunt and all her daughters and her husband all went on something that seems pretty similar to what you guys are talking about. What they did is this is like few weeks of where they just cleansed their whole system, and then from there, their chiropractor gave it to them, and it was this diet where they can only eat certain things, sort of like how you said, no certain fruits weren't even allowed, and man, they just like shed off fat, and they're so thin now, all of them.
Dude, wait. Their chiropractor's last name isn't Sconey, is it?
I have no idea. I'm gonna look into it. Is that who gave it?
Dude,
That's
that's
the chiropractor that did your shit.
that was the chiropractor that was my doctor for HCG.
Dude, that's it then. I guarantee it.
I bet it was
Where's the
HCG.
doctor at?
I think somewhere in Arlington Heights.
Okay, yeah, probably.
Yeah, dude. It's an
into it.
intense experience. Like the thing is if you follow the diet to the T, you're guaranteed you're gonna lose at least 20 pounds, and that's for older people. If you're a younger guy or a gal, you're almost guaranteed 40 pounds in 40 days. Like it's fucking crazy. Every day it's like clockwork, dude. You get up, you weigh yourself, like it's just nuts.
What if you don't have 40 pounds to lose?
Well, then, here's one of the weird things about HCG, though. One of the natural properties of HCG is it'll never let you be underweight. The thing is like your body has like 3 types of fat. Your structural fat, like the fat at the heel of your foot that stops your bone from fucking poking through the skin. Your natural storage fat, which is what you're supposed to have in between meals, and then your abnormal fat, which is, you know, after you've been eating sugars and carbs and fast food and processed shit. Yeah,
I love handles, baby.
those fat cells get greedy and they don't work like a bank like they're supposed to. What HCG does is it basically just
Kinda
heals
like
your
banks.
fat storage cells. So you can never get underweight because it doesn't actually cause you to burn structural fat or typical store fat. So what happens is, like, I went on 2 cycles of HCG. I did a 40-day cycle, and then the shortest you can do is like a 22-day cycle. But I only had like another 10 pounds I wanted to lose, which I lost like that first week. So after that, when I hit my bottom weight and my body wouldn't let me lose anymore, I was just fucking ravenous, dude.
Like
All
your
of a
ass
sudden,
weight?
the 500-calorie diet, like, because you're on a 500-calorie diet the entire time you're on HCG, but the reason you're never hungry is because your body's burning as much as, 3,000 to 6,000 calories of fat every fucking day.
Holy fuck.
It's crazy, dude. Like, you just feel this buzz. Like, you're just like, it's kind of like this high. It's really
Dude,
weird.
I swear my aunt was like on coke.
It's weird
like-
because dude, one of the things is like it changes your mentality because every day you know you're gonna wake up and you're gonna be a pound lighter. You have to gorge for 2 days before you start, so you just eat as much shit as you can. I basically ate until I was sick both days.
Sweet.
I smoked a ton of weed and then just ate as much as I fucking could. And
I had Popeyes when I tried it.
My first day in HCG, from day 1 to day 2, I lost like 7 pounds.
Jesus Christ.
It was crazy, dude. It was like from Mr. Deeds.
A lot of water.
He looked at me, and I just and I'm sure a lot of it was water. But you know, the thing is too is I'm
or
like
the weight that you gained when you ate all that.
Yeah.
a lot of it could be
It
what
really
I put on. But like it was like 7 pounds the first day, like 3 the next, 2 the next, 2 the next, and then it tapered off to like 1 a day.
One.
It was just crazy, dude. And I don't know how else to describe the experience. I recommend it to anyone who's willing to actually like read the manuscript and follow it. Like, here's the thing: you have to read the manuscript from the doctor. It's like 40 pages long.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Is it? Do they have it on where someone will read it to me? Do I have to read it myself?
They have an audio tape.
Awesome. Then I'm good.
You can do it without a doctor and without reading the manuscript. But no offense, you'll be another yellow bus. Like you'll get frustrated by not knowing why.
I mean, you can go. I mean, I lost weight, and Christy actually was very strict, and she lost a little bit more than me. And she's a girl, and I know that guys lose weight more than girls on this diet. But I mean, I just did it to support Christy, and she lost a good amount of weight. And yeah, I kind of said fuck it after a while, and you know.
You look in shape.
Well, that's because I said fuck it. And I just started doing like 2-a-days for 6 months, and
Holy shit.
I just did like the no excuse diet.
I do 2-a-days for 6 months too. 2 Chipotle burritos a day.
10 Miller Lights.
Okay. You guys want to hear? Okay, so here's a story on Friday. We did a cheat day, right? So Christy's like, "Oh, you want to do a cheat day?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I want to do a cheat day." And guess what? Her cheat day was like, all right. So there was National Donut Day, by the way, which you love Hallmark holidays, Sean.
Hey, that's a good one. That's a holiday.
They brought 100 donuts to work, right?
What the fuck?
And so our company's 100 people strong. I decided to have 5. then I had lunch.
I don't think I've ever eaten 5 donuts in a row.
I had 5 donuts and I was still hungry, right? So I had 5 donuts, plus I had breakfast already. I had a protein shake and I had a banana. Had 5 donuts, then had lunch. And then after that, I went home and it was Friday, right? So like Christy texted me, she's like, "Oh, I just want to like go to bed, hang out, spend time with you." I'm like, "All right, well, I'll go ahead and pick up a pizza." She's like, "Oh, really? Should we be bad?" And when I say be bad with Christy, this means eating. It doesn't mean like stealing cars, robbing a bank,
Sexy
doing
time.
stuff in public. It's literally just like eating food and sitting in bed and like watching Netflix. So I ordered an XL pizza with a dozen wings. She ate like a little bit of the pizza, a little bit of the wings. I killed like everything. So I probably ingested like 4,000 calories on Friday, and I still woke up and had pancakes.
Oh, God. I think ultimately with the dieting stuff, though, man, it's one of those things that it's to each his own, because if whatever it is that you wind up picking and deciding that's going to work for you, or based on what you want your results to be, how much you have to lose, what you want to do in addition to that. And I think ultimately sticking to it is the important part, because my wife and I have been trying to eat better for about probably like the last year now, and we've gradually started to work towards that, trying to cut a lot of sugars and things like that out of our diet. But we started working out about 4 or 5 times a week, doing high intensity interval training, and then in between just actually doing lifting, and full body workout, that we do, and a lot of it was for just toning up and weight loss and everything else. And of course, we've been watching our diet and everything, but we've been very strict with it, and we've both seen some really nice results that we're both very happy with over the last 8 weeks. And so I think ultimately what it is a lot of times these different diets, they work just fine if you actually follow the diet. But so many people are so intent on cheating a little bit and then lying to themselves about it and then telling everybody that doesn't work, and so it didn't work because you didn't follow it the way it was intended to work. Or you followed it for that 2 weeks or whatever, and then when you were done, you went back to fucking, eating double quarter pounders with cheese and washing it down with a Diet Coke, thinking that was somehow good for your weight,
There's I guess, there's a well-known story about, I think it's Susie Orman, the financial advisor, whatever, that one lady, where she would hold like seminars. Maybe it was her, maybe it was someone else. She would hold seminars and people would pay good money to go see her about how to get ahead, and like one of her seminars was like how to get out of debt, how to get ahead.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
How to get some
head. Getting.
And but I guess she would start out with her seminars with like, how many of you have read like a basic financial book? And like almost everyone raises their hand. And then she'd say like, how many of you heard the advice to pay yourself before you pay your bills? And everyone raised their hand. How many of you are actually saving? And all the hands go down. And I guess she was notorious for just just stopping seminars and being like, until you learn to follow the most basic of financial advice, none of my techniques or principles you're going to gain anything from them whatsoever.
You're just wasting your money.
And she was famous for fucking walking out if people in the crowd just, you know, hadn't even attempted to follow basic conventional wisdom about finances.
Yeah, they bought a ticket to go see her.
Right, right. You know, but I think that's a powerful message, and it's the same thing with like diets and shit. Like, you know, people are just never going to learn, at least people that are obsessed with fad diets, that like moderation is the key, right? Like, I don't care what your fucking diet is. Like, the literature is being written every fucking decade on nutrition and medicine, and not even every decade, every fucking 10 days there's something new. So, you know, shit, dude. Like, when we were kids, I remember Mom telling us, you got to eat up carbohydrates. They're good for you. It's like the food pyramid recommends like 12 to 18 servings of carbs a day. I'm sorry, but like,
all a scheme, man.
That's that. Oh yeah, absolutely an agricultural scheme. But dude, as soon as I cut out sugar and carbs, my life like changed. Like, it's crazy. Like, carbs do not hold the same power over me that they used to. Before, like, sugar and carbs, like, I could not say no to French fries and fucking ice cream. You know, like,
You still don't.
When I first cut sugar out of my diet, I got terrible headaches for a while because I was not used to that. It was like a culture shock, you know, to me, not having that sugar that's in almost everything. But when I tried to cut it out to almost, you know, where it's almost not, I was getting terrible migraines because my body was just not adapting well to the lack of sugar.
It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. But we should probably pick a topic. We haven't.
We probably should. You know,
we're getting kind of dry.
Yeah, and if everybody doesn't mind, because we talked a little bit. Well, we talked at the beginning there about, you know, the console stuff with the E3 and everything like that. But
we never got into the individual games.
We never got into the games, yeah. And I mean, that's
well, you know what I just thought too. We didn't get into eBabs at all because we talked about that in the pre-show, but I don't think we like really properly introduced him on the show. Like, did we?
Yeah, we did at the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, I introduced him at the beginning, you know, that he's got a channel, that sort of thing. But yeah, why don't we take a minute over here? I mean, he gave a story about how where his name came from over here. But yeah, that's we'll give you the floor for a couple minutes over here. Why don't you tell us a little background about yourself? We know that you're a track athlete and shot put, 17th in the nation, I believe.
Top half or bottom half?
Top half.
What division are you again?
Division 1. I go to DePaul University.
Okay, so DePaul is Division 1?
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
Not rightfully so, I don't think. I mean, we're small. We don't have a football team. We got
You guys beat us in basketball at ASU. Like, Arizona State went over there and got their ass beat.
Oh really? Oh, when was this? I probably was at the game.
It was basketball last year. I mean, you guys were. I mean, we weren't that good, but we went. I think we went to DePaul and lost by like 4 points.
Oh yeah? Did you play?
No, I don't play.
Oh, okay.
I just know basketball. I wish. I'm only 5'10".
I follow the stats, but.
Yeah, well, like you guys said, what's interesting is, like I said earlier, I'm from Mount Prospect, which is literally 10 minutes from you guys, and it's just so ironic that I ended up being guest starring on the show. You know, the world's so freaking huge. How did this happen?
Well, and explain that real quick too, because that was kind of a fluke over here. I mean, we've been doing this for about 8-9 weeks now, but honestly, you're the first person that's not we haven't had prior knowledge of, that wasn't a friend or acquaintance in some way, shape, or form.
I'm honored.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, and don't get me wrong, we've had a couple of really cool.
Don't
really
be the show's dog shit.
Special guests. So don't sell us that short, damn it. But you know, we've had
it's a very low effort production.
We've had a couple of special guests, and they were good. But again, you know, nobody really from the community. So we talked a little bit about that in the pre-show while you were getting everything worked out with your the camera.
From the community. For a second, I felt like we were in the movie Turbo. The community, man, we got to save the community center. Why is like every good black film about like saving the community center? We got to dance to save the community center.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about the new movie coming out with like the animated snails that like want to do NASCAR.
What the hell is that?
It's a
Turbo
film, yeah.
Turbo, that's what it is. Turbo.
Oh my god.
Anyway, sorry. Terrible. Interjection.
Okay, back on topic.
Yeah. Anyway, what I was just saying, you know, because it was kind of a weird series of events, I guess I would call it. I mean, I never actually checked my inbox on anything, and I just happened to, about a week after you sent me a message, you know, asking to take a look at your channel. At the time, I think you had about 250, 280 subscribers or something like that, and it had been about a week. And I clicked on it and took a look while I was on my phone and watched a couple of videos, and I said, man, this guy's got a good voice, good presentation. The gameplay stuff is fine. I don't really care so much about that. I really now look for the person, and what they're talking about and how they talk and everything. But at any rate, though, it was just kind of a neat thing. How did you even come about contacting me? Did you find my name in a comment section? Did you get up on this show? What did you?
What happened with our specific cases? Yes, I saw you commented on a commentating video. I think it was one of Woody's videos, either that or LEA.
I'm not sure, and I was asking because I don't make a ton of comments on stuff. I've been doing a little more now, but usually I'm just very lazy about it, and I just say, fuck it, there's 10,000 other people. I don't really care about my 2 cents.
Right. Well, what I try to do is find people who have, a general interest in the field that I'm trying to exploit, and what I've been doing now is, and what I find most successful is the collabs and the working with other YouTubers type a deal where, if you do a duocom with someone, or you cross promote each other's channel, it pays dividends. And
that's what I need to start doing. I was going to ask, because you've grown your channel fast. I got the majority of my subs from the ad that we put on PKA, but it's like hard to grow, and like I want to do more duocoms, but I haven't, since starting YouTube, I haven't been watching as much YouTube, and so I haven't
don't
time
delete
to
it
find
then.
guys like
Don't delete duocoms.
I don't. Oh, Yellow Bus is pissed because we did a duocom together and I deleted it by accident.
We did 2 of them. You're like, let's do it again. Let's try to let's try to redo it.
Dude, I accidentally deleted it. But here's the thing: you don't even have a YouTube channel.
He's my brother, and I haven't even done a duocom yet, so it's okay.
Dude, fucking get your ass over here, man! I can only text you so many times. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
but yeah.
Yeah, what's worked for me is finding people who I think would have an interest in what I have to offer and trying to contact them. And yes, you get a lot of hate, people saying fuck off, don't even talk to me or whatever, and it's just something you got to brush off. And
right.
You just send out a lot of private messages then to people. That's
what I was doing at first.
People that comment on videos that are video game related, or that are in the similar vein of what you're doing, and then
exactly.
Just kind of go down the list and click on people and send each person a message. Or
what I was doing at first, that was kind of my thought process, but I realized it isn't really that effective because people generally are negative towards that type of advertising or you trying to market your channel. So
that's the exact reason why I looked at it.
I've always deliberately not done that because people hate spamming.
And that's exactly why I take a look at
they hated on us for fucking advertising on PKA, man.
Do people always have a fucking reason to hate on you?
Yeah, it's unfortunate, because I really am just trying to put out some content that people would enjoy, and like I said, I enjoy doing it, and that's really it. And it's unfortunate to have people sending me inboxes saying "suck my dick, you faggot" or whatever.
Yeah. It sucks, dude. Like it's that process of like Call of Duty inflation. Like, and we're kind of part of the problem, but like, we're not though, because we're not one of the endless amounts of 9-year-olds that have made channels. That's why it kind of made me mad that like when Black Ops 2 made live streaming enabled, and like the new system talking about live streaming, it's like we don't need an influx of 8-year-olds making YouTube videos. I'm sorry, but like that's cool when you're doing your own channel and like whatever, but I think it's inflated the community so much that like I would never have found a guy like you, because I've got like my 10 subs now for Call of Duty shit, and I don't sub to anybody else because I don't look for anybody else anymore.
Right.
And even the community of big time guys is pretty big. There's probably 150 guys that are paid to do this, and like that's pretty big.
Yeah, there's a number of big guys out there, and triple the amount of medium-sized guys who still make decent money. And I've come across a few people who make some money and who I've had a little bit of a relationship. There's one guy who I'm about to do a duocom with this upcoming weekend, and he's got around 5,000 subs, which is very small to medium, but he gets a lot of views. And that's what it's
about. Is that good like audience retention? You can talk about one of your videos too.
Because you can talk about guys like Woody all day long, 1.2 million subs, but guess what? If you only have 30 to 50,000 views per video that you're putting out, and you're pumping 2 or 3 of them on a day, your active subs are less than 3%. So
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, you can jab at Wood if you want, but like all those guys are like that. Anyone who gets past really like 300,000 subs, it's like the same thing.
I was just using him as an example because he seems to be the jumping off point for everybody and everything with things. So that's why I said.
Well, I just think that
he does a nice job. He puts a lot of videos out there, but as opposed to the people that put out one video a week that's that maybe gets more views and that sort of thing, he has subscribers that I think they may look at his videos when they get a chance, but they don't have a chance to look at 2 or 3 a day if that's what are being put out sometimes. You know what I mean? Because I like the guy, I really do, but I can't even keep up with all of them, because he's putting so much content out there. So he's more of a put a lot of content out there. Some's going to be for some people, some's going to be for others.
Right.
And it's all going to add up in the end. But ultimately, he has a large subscriber base, but I think a smaller active amount of subscribers as opposed to somebody who does a one-off every week and maybe has 3 or 4 million subs, but gets a couple million views on that one video.
Yeah.
So that's the only comparison that I was making. I could care less about who it is. But you're right. All of them are absolutely like that.
Right.
So the guys that put out consistent content.
The thing that I find somewhat frustrating is, and not to toot my own horn or yank my own chain or whatever, but I see some channels who are way bigger than mine, but I look at their stuff and
their content's not there.
It's not there.
It's dog shit.
It's dog shit, I'm telling you. No, but and I'm not saying mine's like the best in the world, because it isn't. I'm learning and I'm having fun, but I think I have something to offer that some of these bigger channels don't necessarily take advantage of.
I'm shocked a lot of times, even by some of the big channels. I'm shocked a lot of times at how horrendous some of the editing or camera work is.
Yeah, like how do they get there?
And the thing is a lot of those guys exactly is that they got before there was a bubble. Like they started the bubble. And that's not to take away the majority of them are good. I'm not knocking anyone in particular, but sometimes I'm surprised and I'm like, this guy has 500,000 subscribers and like he made a 15-minute vlog. 10 minutes of it is just like looks like you gave the camera to like an 11-year-old. Like, no offense, but like 11-year-olds are like fucking. It's up, it's down, it's left. Yeah. I'm kind of shocked by stuff like that. Like people like they've gotten famous putting out content like that.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy.
And I'm a really tight editor too. I love really tight edits. So like my shit's. I mean, and part of it too is because of the way I film, because I can't keep a logical thought for more than a few seconds. So like a lot of my, especially my how-to videos, are like blah, 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 they're all over the fucking place.
Right.
So I like tight edits. When I see shit that's really loose, I don't know. I'm just turned off by it. It makes my penis soft.
Yeah, totally flaccid.
Maybe they just get lazy because they have like 1,000 videos and they have like 5,000 subscribers and they just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
The funny part is, and that's why I take a look at everything that I see, whether it's in an inbox or even if I see a comment on there, somebody, hey, please take a look at my channel, this and that, blah, blah, because I understand from seeing what my brother has been going through, putting his heart and soul into things, and it maybe not growing in ways or as fast as he'd like it to, or whatever the case is, and I can completely sympathize and empathize with it. So when I see those, I click on it, I take a look, and the majority of it is dog shit. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff out there where the person doesn't speak clearly. It's a 10 or 12-year-old kid. I mean, I saw one that a guy sent me right around the same time as you. I clicked on it. The guy was using a camcorder to tape, all of his stuff or whatever on there, and whether the content was good or bad, listen, we're beyond taping it with a camcorder now and pointing it at the TV, So I would think, but I try to give them a look though, because you never know who's going to be, one of the next generation of them.
Right, like look what happened to us,
Well, and a lot of these guys that I think that got in early and everything before the bubble that everybody talks about, there's some of them that are working hard. A guy like Woody that's putting out good videos still, and I think is always looking to innovate and stuff. And there's other guys that have just gotten fat and bloated, I think, off of it. They've gotten lazy. They don't know what to do. They've hit a mental wall, whatever. Because before it was I just throw any shit out there of me playing a game and people will buy it, right? But now there's a bigger pool of people out there to sub to and stuff.
Well, I think what it has to do with too is like 3 or 4 years ago, the Call of Duty community was looking to get better at Call of Duty. Now you have newbies that come in and look for that, but the majority of the Call of Duty that started this whole trend 3 or 4 years ago is now good at Call of Duty, and now they're interested in the people. So what you're left with is the commentators that have personalities, and the ones that don't, and they have a following because they were good at giving tips and not at being a personable, relatable person on there. So like for me at least, when I started doing YouTube stuff, I was like, okay, I see where the Call of Duty community is going. People are getting sick of the game. It's just a matter of time before people are totally sick of it and a new, better game comes out that appeases their competitive needs. And what's happening is current Call of Duty commentators are seeing the need to start switching away from Call of Duty because they're getting bored playing it too, and they're trying to rebrand as general gaming channels. Look at what White Boy's done. Look at what Woody's doing. Look at what Wings is struggling to do. Everyone is sort of breaking out of that niche so they can have a career outside of Call of Duty, and people are getting to know them as individuals. So to me, it's like I'm taking the Tiger Woods approach. And actually, I'm stealing this from a subscriber who inboxed me, wrote me the sweetest letter. I woke up and like it was like a 2-page letter of just like the most encouraging shit. And I haven't been able to write him back, but I'm gonna ask him if I can use part of his letter to make a video. But he gave me this reference that I thought was a really cool story about Tiger Woods. I guess Tiger Woods has always said that like what he does differently from other people when he wants to be successful on a hole, which is obviously every time you're up to golf, he thinks backwards from the hole. He doesn't think, how am I going to play to the hole? He goes from the last step and makes that first. So instead of pulling out his driver and just whacking the ball as far as he can go, maybe he's choosing a 9-iron. I don't know. I don't play golf. So he's thinking backwards from the hole. And when I started YouTube, I was like, that's kind of what I'm going to do. I didn't have that Tiger Woods analogy at the time, but that's sort of what I did. Like, people are now trying to rebrand themselves as full-on gaming channels with commentators that are talking about interesting shit about their lives. So instead of me trying to come to the table like I have something to give to the Call of Duty community, because I don't. I totally suck at Call of Duty. Or the gaming community in general. Like, I play games for maybe like 6 hours a week if that's me blocking out time for it. So I'm not a valuable asset to the gaming community. I'm not a really valuable asset to the music community, as you can tell by the dribble that's on my channel. But as an individual, I think I've got something to contribute. So I'm sort of working backwards from the whole. You know, like I'm starting by already differentiating myself and not just doing Call of Duty videos. Like I've got just as much other content in terms of gameplay as I do with Call of Duty. You know.
Right. And I can relate to that. I'm not the best player out there. I'm not, so much better than the rest that's why I feel I can make it out there. Like I said, or like you said, I feel I have something to offer in the sense that, I think I have the personality.
Yeah, you gotta have that, dude.
Yeah, and another thing that I thought I could kind of aid in is, kind of tripping this this misconception that gaming's for nerds and, it's, not something that someone who's athletic or, not totally stuck in their basement playing video games all day can do and enjoy. And
right.
So, that's my thoughts on it. And
yeah, that's cool, dude. Like it's nice to be able to break down some of those stigmas.
Yeah.
I almost wanted to steal a little side note. Not just steal your thunder. I don't know if you were gonna say anything after that.
No, you're good.
But a funny little story. Like I've always been into sports. Played soccer growing up, played lacrosse, did wrestling, did some other sports here and there. But I thought it was the funniest thing when I actually used to be on track in junior high, and that's when my gaming started to peak.
Nice.
And I just remember like me and John and
nobody knows who that is.
Well, my friend John, but he's the kid that we always reference, and we should have him as like a 5-minute guest and just like kick him off.
This is John.
But so me and my friend, we used to like ditch practice to play like Warcraft 3.
Oh, that's the shit.
It was the funniest thing ever because like watching like me and him like be like a decently fit kid and him just like somewhat of he was always like a bigger just like you'd think he would like, be taking steroids in his teenage years, but he didn't. But it was just so funny. Like, and his tag or his alias or whatever you want to call it was Jockey Nerd. I thought it was the funniest thing because like just to see like the different dynamic of people. Like it's not always like the nerd. It's not always like the South Park reference where you have the guy like sitting at the computer like sitting like this and just fucking killing everyone. Like, you got people that are in decent shape. You have normal people. You have old people. I mean, my brother's friend's dad was like 40 or 50, and he was playing like the fuck was that? It was like this old ass computer game for like Windows 95, and I guarantee he still plays it every night. So I mean,
Holy
like,
shit.
Ski slope.
really, it was like before Age of Empires 1. It was some kind of RTS. It was kind of like a it was kind of like a Civilization, but it was like a turn-based.
What did you say? Age of Empires?
It was kind of like a medieval one, and it was a turn-based. It was old though. It was really old. It was actually when StarCraft 1 came out, because I was a huge PC gamer until I actually went out and bought a. I had a Genesis, but I went out and bought a PS1, and then I bought an Xbox and an N64, and then my life changed.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to be big.
I
in
still
PC.
do StarCraft 2 though from time to time, but I just don't have time. It's just too competitive. I mean, it sound like it's like a bitch move or a cop out, but you can't beat some people. It's just too hard.
Yeah.
So apparently it's okay to shoot hookers in Texas.
Yeah, what the fuck's with that, man? Jesus Christ.
I happened upon that, just on, it was like all over Yahoo and Facebook and everything like that, and people were like, yeah, I can't believe this, man was acquitted of, he shot an escort or whatever, and I don't know, apparently this, for people who haven't read about it, what I derived from the little clip that I saw and what I read was that it was an escort, which is different from a prostitute. A prostitute is paid for the act of sex, whereas an escort is like you think you're probably going to get sex. Kind of like when you pay the $300 or something at like the masseuse for the extra special ending or whatever. Sean may know about that. I'm not sure. But no, but you know what I mean? It's, I guess it's implied, and it's.
I had my two kids.
I guess as an escort, it's implied, and it's not actually, it's not owed. So I guess he gave her $150, and she didn't sleep with him, so he shot her. And then took the money, and I guess apparently the way Texas law reads is that if it's like after dark, if it's at night and you're robbed, and that was considered a robbery, a theft, because she took the money from him and he was expecting something that he didn't get, it was a robbery or something like that. That you're allowed to defend yourself and your property with deadly force.
Jesus
so he
Christ.
shot an escort for not fucking him, basically, and then was acquitted of it.
That's wonderful. I love that.
but I mean. I just thought that was really out there.
And of course, all the feminists are like, so now women are property? It's like, listen, bitch, if you're out there selling your body for
they're
sex.
not property. The concept of what they're giving.
You don't know me.
You got to fucking get one thing through your head. There are no expectations of safety as an escort. I'm sorry, but like, I'm not justifying shooting a hooker. Okay, I know that's what it sounds like. But what I'm saying is like this whole like my body. I don't know, whatever. It's like these empty arguments.
No, you know what I likened it to? I'm like thinking about it. I'm sitting back. I'm like, Jesus Christ, a jury, collaborated on finding this guy innocent after killing a woman. It's like you meeting up with your drug dealer, paying him for the drugs. He doesn't deliver. You go into his house, shooting him dead, taking your money and your drugs and leaving, and going to court and you're free.
Dude, that's called My Weekend. No, I'm just kidding.
Weekend with Surfed Up.
The only
I'm playing a
We're gonna put a video up next week about it.
I don't do drugs, cheating. Just weed.
Yeah.
It's called Dealing with Dub.
Dealing with
new series.
Dub Wub.
I thought I would make a video talking about some of my drug experiences. I mean, I don't do drugs anymore. Like I
think Woody did something like that.
I think he did like a short series where he's like the truth about cocaine. It was like it's like a scare tactic movie. It was crazy.
I was gonna make a video about my drug experiences, but it'd be like about 4 seconds. So
it was like Reefer Madness. You skipped the whole spectrum. You went from one thing right to the other, and then nothing in between. It was really funny.
I went from A to Z in like 10 seconds.
My bad.
Whatever.
I could.
Lucky Charms.
Sorry, I have food being delivered. Watch this. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, Wendy's, you
It just
bastard.
happened.
Dude, speaking of Wendy's,
Fries have no power over me.
they have new waffle cone Frosties. Worst decision ever.
Yeah, those look sloppy, man.
You put it on, like I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get a meal and then I'm gonna get a Frosty with a waffle cone. By the time you get to the Frosty with the waffle cone, they put like this paper around it,
Ew.
and you can't take it off. And as you're eating it, like as you're trying to take it off, it like rips it apart and it just explodes in your face.
Oh, by the way, I know everybody lives around the Palatine area. You know that little dog shack that got closed down a few months ago?
Yeah.
And, they're putting a Chick-fil-A right there.
No,
they're
Wow,
popping
doing
up
a Chick-fil-A
everywhere.
out here. Nice.
Yep. So Chick-fil-A, man.
You
That's
guys like
pretty
that
cool.
place?
I've
Never
only
been.
ate there a couple of times.
I'm
Yeah, I've never been
indifferent.
there.
I'm aware that it's there, but have no idea. Really have never experienced
Hello?
it, except for once. Yeah. Yes, we can hear you.
What the fuck?
There's two of you, Tim.
He got
Is that what I look like?
He's doubled.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Hey,
You're gonna have to live with it, pal.
Yeah. Maybe you should have talked to mom and dad because we had nothing to do with
Sorry.
that.
No refunds, no exchanges.
you guys
I know
want to see
you-
a funny video?
Yeah, I know you've been dying to show it here. I'll click on you. Hold on.
Okay, so the notorious video
Give-
of
Give a brief
trying-
background.
Okay, so the brief background is I have a friend that I actually got. He was having trouble in Illinois finding a job, so I went off on a limb, not knowing any kind of like work experience he's had. I got him a job in Arizona, which that's where I reside, and my boss decides, hey, you know, fuck it, let's give him a job. Just blindly hires this friend of mine, great guy. He was there. His name's first name's Tom. He doesn't want his last name disclosed, but he was here for I think was the Overdose 3 or 4.
It was
that
4.
was.
It was
I think it
the.
was 4 where we decided to do the Edward 40 hands, and it just was a horrible idea. But anyway, so this kid, you know, he's trying to find himself. He's trying to like get himself. This is the first time he's living on his own. He's probably lived on his own for 9 months now, and he's got 2 interesting roommates, and they pretty much put him into. They set him up for interesting situations, to say the least. But there's this new whiskey bar that opened up, and he went there, and you know he's getting a little saucy. You know Tom. He decides to like buy shots for everyone, and you know my favorite is Patron on the rocks. It's usually Don Julio or Patron. He orders me it, and I'm like, Tom, like just stop doing that. He starts buying shots for the people. I'm like, stop, Tom, you need to stop that. He buys like there's House Moonshine, which they make it in house, and I know he's messed up because later on the night the bar's open till 3, but it was like 1:50, and he bought me like a shot and another like Don Julio on the rocks. And I was like, Tom, I look at him like, do not buy me another drink. And in his mind, he's probably like, what? Want another one? He turns around and instantly buys the exact carbon copy of what I just received. And I am just telling him right now, I'm like, I am going to leave. And he's like, oh, okay, that's a great idea. And like I'm trying to tell him, he's trying to buy a new car, by the way. And this is a horrible idea that he's like buying me like $8 drinks plus like a $6-7 shot. And so I mean, we're trying to wind down. I'm just like, this is a bad, he's that bad. His friends are no help, and I'm just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm walking home. This is, I live a mile away. I walk home, I wake up, and what do I see in the morning? And by the way, Tom is not very Facebook friendly. He's actually online right now chatting with me, so I wonder if he's watching. But he got blacked out, and there's a thing called the light rail, which in Chicago it's kind of an L, but it's more like a cleaner, newer L. Not too many people are on it. Not too many homeless people are ever found on it, but it's a way to get around some of the Phoenix area. Anyway, so I don't know how this happened, and there's a video prior to this, but pretty much this video is going to depict the second half of it, and I guess he doesn't want his last name disclosed, and he just wants to let everyone know that she kind of this thing, I'm not going to let you know if it's a guy or a girl, led him on, and it was kind of, he was almost taunting him to do what you'll see in a second, but there's another video that we might disclose later. We might decide not to. I don't know. But this is the 30-second snippet of the ride home after, I'm assuming, they drank for another hour after I left. So here we go. You guys
unplug your headphones so we can hear it.
So you want me to wait? So I have to unplug the headphones?
Unplug the headphones so we can hear the audio. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna unplug the headphones. I got the thing on high. Screen share it. I'm not gonna full screen because that fucks it up, right?
How do you guys cut out like that? If I got to go take a leak right now,
you have to hit mute and then probably mute.
It's in your Hangout toolbox. You got to click on like your custom overlay. You upload like an image in there,
and then you click it on.
I suggest not going to the bathroom in this 30 seconds. So this is awesome.
Okay.
So let me see if I can actually get it bigger. Let me see if it'll get.
There we go, boys. I found it.
Is that bigger or no?
No, it just made it smaller. It made the
video is smaller, the dialogue box is bigger.
All right, so
if you had a Mac, you could just zoom it in.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Fuck a Mac.
All right, here we go.
John is a crocodile that eater. That was amazing. John, does she have balls? That was amazing.
Hi, I'm John. Nice to meet you. shakes its hand.
So I guess what happened is a little backstory about what actually happened before
I
that.
like how he's poised. Look at the look on his face. Play it one more time. He just fucking uppercuts her vagina.
I wish
Yeah,
you
we
could
got to
play-
see that again.
All right, so one more time.
We're ready.
Are you shitting me?
Doesn't Tom go?
That
Your
eater.
balls aren't bigger than mine.
John, does she have balls?
Is she pissed off?
That was amazing.
Well, he did
Hi,
just
I'm
punch
John.
her in the vagina.
So I think the best part about this is that the brother is actually taping on the other side of the far left. And I guess what happened is that
She grabbed his dick first for a while, right?
I think so.
Man, that
And
is.
that's how it all started. Oh, man.
Tom punched a tranny in the vagina.
Sounds like my weekends.
Hey.
It doesn't count when you punch yourself in the vagina, though, right?
I don't know, does it? I mean, I'm gonna punch you in the vagina soon, so.
All right, we've been on for 2 hours, and I think we picked one or two topics.
Well, that's kind of
Which
good.
is
That means we have lots of topics. What else do we have? Well, right now we can listen to eBab's picks.
That's a show.
That's fucking classic.
No.
The Overdose first.
Nobody told the fella to mute his mic, man.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. You know, I also
He's
want to
really
go back.
going at it.
I also want. Well, he's been drinking. I also want to go back. You know, I was talking about the Karl Malone thing, and what kind of went along with that is Rodman made a fucking a blatant comment about how LeBron in the '90s wouldn't have been, would have been a mid-tier player. Which, I'm not a LeBron fan, but I think that's bullshit. I don't think LeBron, any dime he would play, would be a mid-tier player. I mean, I think playing with Jordan, he'd pale in comparison because right now there's nobody really there like him besides Kobe. But I don't think that he would be a mid-tier player in the '90s. LeBron would still be a fucking superstar, man. Regardless, I like Rodman. He's a fuck up, but I just think that's bullshit.
If Colby had a cheese named after him, it'd be confusing as fuck at the deli.
Oh, yeah, what?
Colby. Colby? No, I want Colby.
Oh, Kobe Bryant, bitch.
I don't know. I don't fully agree with Rodman in his statement, but I don't think that LeBron would have as much success as he has experienced without the way the league was 20 years ago.
Well, yeah, if you think about it, okay, Jordan.
So it was a more physical league, and I don't know. There wasn't as much. He gets away with a lot, and players throughout history have gotten away with a lot. I mean, Shaq was always famous for doing that shit. He'd take his big 7'2", 350-pound lumbering ass, and knock everybody over on the way down to the basket, travel 3 times, and they wouldn't even call it.
Well, because seriously, do you want to send him to the free throw line?
Yeah.
That's a fucking catastrophe itself. Seriously,
that's a nightmare.
Exactly.
It's him and Rodman. It was always funny watching them go up, but to shoot free throws. But ultimately, I think that there's a lot to be said for it. Really is. It's a different league, And
well, it is.
And it's the same thing. And with football, you know what I mean. You'll never see a defense like the '85 Bears again. Just because it's a different league now. They're trying to protect everybody. They're calling penalties on things that were just typical hits back in '85. So, and I think it's similar in basketball. They've done a lot more to try to protect the players, and there's players that are considered superstars, and just because of their reputation, they're allowed to get away.
What is that noise?
A lot more. That's ridiculous.
Someone's taking a piss or a shit, or that's the stomach flu for you, boys.
You know, but I mean, my
serious? Is somebody just like pressing one of the Google Effects buttons, or
not me? Both hands are here right now. For the first time in 9 weeks, both hands are here.
Wow.
Oh, by the way, eDubs, we did hear you piss.
Abs.
Did you?
Yeah.
Sick. Did you hear how fucking long that shit was?
Yeah.
Holy shit! This big gulp, I took it down in an hour and 10. Holy shit!
Yeah, next time when you have to leave towards the top right over there, there's a mute microphone button that you can click. So
I did that on purpose. I was just filling my water up very slowly to make it sound like a piss.
Luckily, I didn't let out the usual groan like, oh fuck. That's good.
I love the groan somehow makes it more official and complete. Like just it's
You're more involved.
Nice, or a nice fart you pinch off, you know. It's like, oh yeah.
Motherfuck.
Well, you know,
I think I'm gonna do another rap video. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No. It's just like I was saying. You know, you had your, you know, like Jordan. You know, was big 80s, 90s, and then you had Kobe that was big after Jordan. Now you have LeBron. Regardless, if all three of them still played at the same time, they would all be superstars. You had Jordan, you had Bird, and you had friggin' Magic Johnson within the same time period. They're all superstars. They would still be superstars. I don't care what Rodman says. LeBron would be a superstar in the 90s. Would he be as big as he is today? No. Neither would Kobe, because they'd have to compete with MJ. But still, they'd be superstars.
They should take all the really old as fuck retired NBA people and make a league just for them. And watch them play pickup games and get out of breath, get winded real easily. They're all wearing knee braces, and some of them are in wheelchairs. I think that'd be interesting. I'd watch that.
I think I might. We got this guy at the athletic center. I don't know if you guys recall Dave Corzine. Yay? Nay? Anyway.
Nay.
Ex-NBA player. Played for 10 years. 7'2". He's a monster.
Holy fucking
And he's
Jesus.
old now. And it's just so strange when you walk in there and you see a man of that stature. It's like, holy shit.
Don't they die easier when they're that big?
Yeah, their heart has to work harder, so their life expectancy is it's a lot shorter. That's got to be some sort of genetic, you know, fuck up, because 7'2".
Thank you for the scientific explanation.
Yeah.
Mother Nature, you were wrong.
Yeah.
It's not an abnormality. That's a scientific fuck up, is what that is right there.
Man, it was nuts. It's nuts, man. It's like my roommate, who was on my team, he's from Canada. He's 6'7", and just standing next to him is like, you know, he's a head taller than me, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, man.
Now, how tall are you, Babs?
I'm right about 6'2".
Okay, you're 6'2". All right, so you got because you were talking earlier about weight and everything like that, and that you're in the 240s now. But
yeah, I about 244 this morning, and
okay.
Heaviest I was 273. A bit chubby though, but I was peaking for nationals, and man, did I have a gut. If you Google my name, the first picture pops up is like one of me at the national meet, and I just look like a
like a short cut off T-shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, boys.
Oh man, it's bad. I'm like, Jesus Christ, you let yourself go.
Welcome to my life.
But now I'm feeling a bit, you know, the thing is, I was strong as an ox, though. I was moving weight, and I was really explosive, and you know, peaking right, and it just, it's crazy. When we travel, we eat out, you know, every meal, so it's like tough to stay clean when you're going to fucking Wendy's and Taco Bell, you know.
Yeah,
so,
no shit, dude.
Absolutely.
But you know, hopefully next year I can come back and have a successful year, trying to be a bit leaner, maybe even a bit lighter.
Now with shot put, they say so and so in the hole, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We knew this girl, Jenny Finger.
Oh god.
Can you hook me up?
They went by last names.
Hook me up.
Jenny's finger
And now,
in the
number
hole.
27, Jenny
Yep.
Finger in the hole.
Yellow Bus remember this. I don't even know if they did first names. I just remember hearing finger in the hole, and we would laugh our fucking asses off.
Yeah, she did.
Man, that is great.
Jack McPherson did shot put.
Is Christy home? I was gonna say I thought I heard the first Christy comment of the evening. Usually around this time, it's like you hear in the background like Christy on the phone. It's funny.
Yeah, the second you hear me stop talking, that means you saw him.
What?
She's still. I think she's.
Me?
Uh-oh.
Oh, I think she's.
it's an offer.
I think she's still convinced that like.
No
She's
happy
convinced that it's
brother.
just Tim talking with some friends. I don't think she realizes it's.
Oh yeah, he threw the custom overlay on. He's got to go tell her what's
Smack a
going on.
bitch up.
Fuck me.
No, actually, he's probably just gonna go in there and be like, "Come on, I was just playing around. I still want to text tonight.
I love you so much,
Shit.
baby. I love you.
Yeah,
Please.
come on. You know you're my one and only. You know you're
No,
my son.
I just
my
shook
son and my
that, I
moon.
just shook that bear.
Shake that bear.
That's like
So
me,
I
man.
got a thing too. I want to talk about is how do you guys feel about Amazon now having their own original content?
I didn't even hear about that. Now, are you talking about original programming or just that streaming service they have? They're actually
No,
gonna have their
Amazon-
own proprietary programming
Hold
that
on.
they're paying for shooting.
Yeah,
I
they're
didn't
doing
get
the
a
same
chance to
thing.
look
They
that
have
up.
Alpha House betas, Creative Galaxy, Ambots, and Tumbleleaf, and the oh my God, what was that friggin' Zombieland? That was one of the ones they were trying for, but they ended up rejecting based off the movie.
Ooh, with that title lineup, I'm really holding my breath.
I know, really. It's like Netflix does the same thing. However, their titles that they endorse are relevant, like Arrested Development and the Suits, or no, maybe it's not Suits. The one with what's his name, Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, you're talking about House of Cards.
Right,
House of Cards, there you go.
yeah.
You know, they're probably just trying to jump on it right now until they get a footing because it's like where everything's trending. I mean, YouTube kind of started doing that a while ago,
Yeah. I don't
and then
know.
everyone's kind of jumped on it since.
Amazon's just such a huge conglomerate. It's like, why do they even need to tap into that?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
the point is, they're just trying to one-up Netflix because, you know, they have their monthly subscribers who pay for the Amazon Prime, whatever it comes out to be, $79 a year or something,
Right.
and which is awesome if you really use Amazon often and buy shit a lot. When I was kind of working on setting up my whole gaming / work setup, I bought a lot of shit off Amazon, and I had like a 3-month Prime trial, and I got everything 2-day free shipping, and it was amazing. And
Yeah, dude,
Yeah,
it's
that shit's
tits.
cool, man.
It's
Because
tits, man.
because you know I'm one of those people. I'm better now that I'm an
can
adult. But
cancel
when I was
too.
a kid, especially when I had money for something and I bought something and paid for it, I wanted it now.
yeah, me
You know
too.
what I mean?
Man.
And it's like, and now that I'm an adult, I'm a little more patient. But when I order some shit on like Monday, like it should be there no later than Thursday or Friday. And
I know,
It's
I'm like-
it's past. I'm insanely upset. If you know what I mean. I don't care what it is, because just in this day and age, you know what I mean. It's like that's just it's a very now.
You see that-
I want that now type of generation.
Well,
see that?
they actually have. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, you see that curtain back there?
I
Yeah.
do.
Well, that used to be a door, and my package arrived an hour late, so I kicked right through it. No,
Hulk smash!
no, my drunken brother did it, but no, man, I'm the same way.
Angry.
I was gonna say an hour late. Damn, bro.
No, like the local delivery is the best deal, though. If you guys have ever tried, the 2-day free shipping is fine, but if you can find a hub, I don't know if it's just Phoenix, but the local delivery, we got Christy's laptop. Like I ordered it at like 7 in the morning, we got it by like 4.
Are you shitting me? How much did that cost?
It was like I think it was like it was $7 shipping.
That's amazing. How'd you do that? What is it? Was there a?
There's options for Amazon items. If you go to Amazon items and buy them, you can see local delivery. And it can even be like same day, and even if it's like a Saturday, it's the same day Saturday, same day Sunday sometimes.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
It all has to do with the hub. Like Amazon is a huge hub in Phoenix, so we can get food, we can get frozen food even off of Amazon.
The show next
Holy
Special
shit.
deals.
Yeah.
You can talk about some games.
That's awesome.
All right, buddy.
I can't believe how much money I.
love you, Bill.
The best part about Amazon actually is
I love you too, Jim.
this is a Christie story too.
That goes without saying, though, Sean.
You can actually order. The cool thing about Amazon is you can order something, and if it's like if it says book within 3 hours to get it by this date, if you actually cancel within that like 2:59 window, you can actually cancel it and like completely void the order out.
That's
So like
pretty nice.
she ordered a case and like actually ordered it with like a 1 or 2 day shipping, and it was like $8 shipping for like a $10 item. I went in and canceled it like within an hour, and then we like reordered it properly. Or you can change the delivery speed too, but we just like reordered a different item entirely.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Amazon really has it together.
Another thing too is when me and Joe got that Halo Anniversary Edition, it was kind of funny because I ordered it and I have Palatine address and I have an Illinois address, I have an Arizona address. I wanted to ship to Illinois and it never showed up. So when I went home, I was like, okay, this is frustrating, never showed up. And I thought it was Amazon. I double checked it. It wasn't Arizona. It was actually supposed to be to Illinois. When you usually call in to customer service, but Amazon has it to where you can actually like put in your phone number and be like, this is my issue. Like, call me when you're ready.
Oh, cool.
Instead of waiting on hold for like X amount of minutes, I had this woman call me. She's like, hey, look, I already have a solution for you because I looked into your issue. And what we did is I wanted it expedited because I didn't have Prime, and I want it expedited so I can get it in time for when I visited. And so when I called, she was like, I'm sorry, I took the $5 of the expedited shipping away. It'll be there tomorrow morning. So
Wow.
I showed up tomorrow morning. I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I had the same kind of issue a few months ago. I ordered a case for my iPhone, and I accidentally forgot to change the address. And I friggin' emailed him, and the guy emailed me back like within a couple hours and says, oh, we see the addresses don't match up, so we're going to go ahead and credit your account.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I didn't fight. I don't know where the fucking thing ended up. It was my fault, and they fucking credited my account like $30. I didn't fucking hesitate at all.
You know what happened once? I got, this is actually really funny how this
I got
worked out.
distracted?
Yeah, story of my life. I maxed out like a $500 credit card when I was like 18, and I didn't have the money to pay it. But like so there was like some illegal activity on there. Someone like basically duped me into buying some shit I shouldn't have bought. So I filed a thing, but I never followed up. And they sent like repeated after repeated invoice trying to follow up with me about like this fraud claim. And then they like one day I just ignored it for like 3 years. And, like one day they wrote me, they're like, "We're so sorry the way we handled your claim. Here's a $100 gift card and the fees are wiped." My whole credit card got wiped. I was like, awesome. Like they just assumed it was their fault.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
No, they're honestly a good company. I mean, I bought a lot of shit from them, and I never had issues. I mean, I know eBabs, you were talking about, you did a lot of stuff with eBay earlier. I mean, to me, eBay is a bunch of fucking douchebags, man. I started like an account, and I was selling a shitload of shit, and it was right after I got divorced, so I was selling everything to try to get money. So my wife, so it'd be under the radar, so I don't have to, nothing goes to the ex-wife. And they fucking sent me, like, I was doing it for like 3-4 months, and they sent me a thing all of a sudden. We suspect that you're connected to another account, so we're suspending your account.
Oh, yeah, that shit happens to me all the time. I just actually got off the phone with PayPal yesterday. My account had, for some reason, had a negative balance, and it was because I was selling a tennis racket for my roommate who was on the tennis team here, and they wanted a racket with a 4 1/4 inch versus a 4 3/4 inch handle. And so they bought the wrong one. So they contacted eBay, opened a case, and what ended up happening is eBay's always on the side of the buyer because they're the ones that are outlaying the money, and they drew the money right from my account without me having to without my input.
Yeah, they automatically freeze that money and take it out and basically wait for a resolution to happen. And most of the time the resolution is they keep the fucking money.
Yeah. So now I'm out of racket and out the money. So what are the chances that I see that racket again, which is a $120 racket?
Yeah, you know what though, but Amazon does the same shit though too, because a couple of years ago I had a similar instance where Amazon wound up something didn't match up right or something, and I had a seller account when I lived in Michigan or whatever, and had some things on there, and I don't know, somebody had complained about something and I wasn't even aware of it. I was never notified, but that dropped me below the performance rating they wanted me to have as a seller or something. So they just like without telling me suspended my shit, and I found out when I went to go and buy something or do something on the page, and it was just a real backwards process of getting the information and finding out why. And I've heard the same type of things on eBay. I mean, I use both. It just kind of whatever's more convenient at hand at the time, but. I think they're both terrible, and they both just do whatever they want, and
Well, unfortunately, eBay used to, take a certain percentage, a cut, like 9% or something, and now even PayPal's taking a cut, and eBay says right now that you're allowed to list. Yeah, you're allowed to list for free, but it's all bullshit because at the end of the month they send you an invoice and it ends up being a lot more than you would expect. And I had a situation where my account got suspended for a while, and it was in the process of me having to pay for an item that I bought, so I couldn't buy the item or pay for it for the amount of time my account was suspended. So I had to add funds to my account and pay it 5 days after it cleared, and I ended up getting a negative feedback on my account. And who wants that, for something I didn't necessarily do wrong? And
yeah,
what I found
ridiculous how they handle some of the things there that I've seen anyway.
Craigslist.
Yeah, there you go. You knew it was coming, didn't you? I just sold a bike on Craigslist for $75 in 1 hour, and it's peak season for bikes, I guess. And I live in Chicago. Everyone has a bike, so I literally put the fucking listing on Craigslist at 1 o'clock. By 2:30, I had 100 emails. 100 emails.
Holy shit!
Sending me texts or sending me their phone number, say, "Call me. I'll buy it right now. I'll come down after work. I'll do this." And ended up getting back to just a random one of those messages. He goes, "Be there in an hour." Sold it, and I'm pissed now because I listed it for $75. I think I could have gotten 150 out of it.
Probably if you get that critical response.
But the thing is, there was 2 flat tires, and I bought it last year or 2 years ago for school just to get around, zip back and forth, and unfortunately the tire got popped, so I don't use it, and I didn't want to fix it, and I bought it for $80. Fully functional, so I'm like, what the fuck? That was just wild.
You can get 75 and you've paid $5 to rent it for a year. You came out way ahead.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So Craigslist is nice for that. I've heard, you see stuff on Surf and I. Our mother is she's you can attest to this. Well, she is crazy, but she's one of those
say that, about their moms, but our mom is actually
no, but she's one of those people that she's like, if she saw that somebody got kidnapped at this place 20 years ago, it's a bad place to go to, and she just keeps reverting back to that one thing that she heard. And whether that's a fact and it happened or not, we don't really ever know unless you do the fact checking yourself. She might have just heard it from somebody at church or a friend at Walgreens or whatever, right? But anyway, she always is one to say, oh, God, I saw on the news that Craigslist, somebody got stabbed in an alley. Yeah, somebody in the south side of Chicago met in an alley at 10 o'clock at night on a Saturday night to sell a $5,000 diamond ring. I'm sorry, but I've had drug deals that have gone better than that, okay? So let's, let's use some common sense over here. You know what I mean? Alley, Saturday night, bad neighborhood, high-priced item, you're inviting trouble, So ultimately, Craigslist for me has always been, if it's an item that's bigger than something that can be shipped in just a padded envelope on eBay or on Amazon or something like that, I'll put it on Craigslist. And if somebody local wants to come scoop it up, a lot of times I don't, unless it's really a really big item. I usually never have people come to my house. I usually just meet them at the gas station down the road or whatever. But I personally have never had any problems with it. You get some people that try to haggle with you a little bit, but I mean that's with anything. I
have a story about that.
Yeah. But I just, like I said, I use it, and it's always been fine for me. So.
Well, I actually, when we were moving out of the place that I was subleasing with my wonderful girlfriend over here, but I was trying to sell shit, and so I posted a tube TV, a mini fridge, and this broken futon, and so I posted all of them. And this wonderful woman that worked for a rehab center came and bought the TV and the mini fridge, and it was $40 for both items, $80 total. Grabbed them, I helped her put it into her Escalade. She seemed pretty well off. And then this other person texted me and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're on our way." And then I'm sitting out there for 30 minutes, and finally this random Hispanic husband and wife jump out. I'm like, "Oh hey." They're inspecting every last inch for this futon I just posted for $40, and they're eyeballing it, and they're "Oh, this is a little scuffed," and I'm just "Holy fuck, just fucking take it." I knew it was busted. I knew someone would find it and be "Oh, look, it looks a little off," but they looked at everything and they finally found it, and they're "Well, we'll give you," and I'm just sitting there just I don't care, just do whatever. Even if you just take it and remove it, and they're "Well, we'll give you 25. I'm
done.
25? I was whatever.
The long exhale.
Yeah, that's the way. That's how you got to play it. You got to be.
I just pretty much I posted it. I was like $40 OVO, and I just pretty much just was like, if someone can actually fall for this, and they looked at me like, you duped me, but we drove from like West Phoenix, which is like 45 minutes away from where I live. And pretty much like if you're in the northwest suburbs and they come from like the south side of Chicago, and they're like, we drove all this way in a van. I was like, whatever you say, just take it. And they took it, and they probably love it, and they probably have like little kids just climbing all over it. You just need to get it out, you know.
One man's trash is another man's treasure, I suppose, right?
I see it every day, the hobos.
That's how I call most of my ex-girlfriends, man.
One man's trash is another man's potpourri.
I don't know. It's some sort of flower.
Yes.
A little Grinch reference over there. Well, you know, I wanted to ask you guys, too, because we had started to talk about it before, and then I went to eBabs and kind of his background and story and everything like that. Did anybody actually see anything on the on some of the E3 coverage as far as the games? And what does anybody think about some of the games? You know, I mean, I have my feelings on it, but did anybody see anything? You know, anything you're excited about? Anything that looked good, looked bad? You're indifferent? What?
You know, I haven't gotten to watch much coverage yet, but you know, I know Microsoft really crushed it in that department by showing Metal Gear Solid, the new, what is it, Dead Island or whatever, Forza Motorsport 5, Dead Rising, yeah, taking a whole new spin on the franchise, which looks awesome, and you know, always the epic Halo trailers, and what really stood out to me is what we were talking about earlier, is that the Respawn coming out with that new, you know, FPS and
Titanfall, that's crazy.
I'm excited because maybe
it's
the
mech game.
Yeah, it looks like Call of Duty mixed with like some kind of futuristic mech sort of thing or whatever.
Yeah, like I'm really excited for that. Maybe that'll be the new craze, you know, and you know, sort of how like Halo just took over Microsoft with the original Xbox, and yeah, it's just I'm really excited for that.
We talked about the smart glass one too, but I think one that's going to be kind of like a sleeper. I don't know if you guys have seen this one or not, but the Rise, Son of Rome looks really good, and it kind of reminds me of like Kingdom Under Fire, like the Xbox.
That looked pretty cool, yeah.
There's definitely going to be a COD killer this generation.
It's made by, it's like, I think it's on the Crytek engine. So if you think about it, imagine like kind of like a Dragon Age meets like what am I thinking? Like a Crysis, like that kind of thing.
The reason I think that there's going to be a COD killer for sure is that like there's only so much you can take of a certain series until people will be like, people will still play it, but like I think even now interest is dwindling in the series, you know? I think that it's just a matter of time before like another fast-paced shooter comes along that has a different dynamic that people are like super refreshed by, and you know, dude, it's next gen. That's, you know, the chance for innovation is endless. So
my thoughts on that are, you know, I can agree with you, and here's what I think. The last, you know, glimmer of hope that the COD franchise has is, uh-oh, what is that? Something popped up.
Oh yeah, it'll ask you if you're still there.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
I'm here.
Click, yeah.
Anyway, the last hope I think for the franchise to remain, you know, top of the list is this whole thing that Microsoft is talking about, these dedicated server, 300,000 dedicated servers.
Oh my God, that would be a life for them.
Man, because I'm telling you, the reason why I think I'm getting sick of Call of Duty is because the shit connection. I have really fast internet here. We get 50 up, 10 down. So, I'm sorry, 50 down, 10 up, and which is pretty fast. And I pull host in the game all the time. And unfortunately, this whole lag compensation thing really hurts the host instead of helping them out like it has in the past. And
that's the thing. You either have to have the best connection in the world, or you have to have the shittiest connection in the world.
Well, here's a little dynamic too. Is you see me in Arizona, you see Joe in Illinois. I mean, when we play, what happens? I mean, we have West Coast, and you have Midwest, and then all of a sudden he hosts. Joe's going like 20-5, and he's like, "What the fuck? Like, why aren't you guys kept?" See, I'm like, I spawn, and like by the time I get somewhere, like I'm being headshotted. I don't even see the guy.
Oh no, it's crazy, man. Like I play with this guy in Scotland who I do duo comms with all the time.
Actually, I'm doing a duo comm with him soon too. I saw that on what's his name?
McInnes?
Yeah. I saw him on your channel, and then I went and checked him out, and I thought he was really cool. And I was like, hey, I like wrote him. I was like,
we should do a tricom.
Tricom. We can be a trifecta of
Quadcom.
That'd be cool, man. He's a really cool guy, but like we said, you know, whoever's host, if I start the party, we play on the American servers, but if he starts the party, we play on the Scottish servers, and it's fucking rough. You know, like he'll be one barring while I'm 4 barring. And when he's 4 barring, I'm 1 barring. But hopefully they can figure that out. You know.
Yeah, that problem has to be solved.
Has to be.
Especially because of the nature of the game. Like, to be honest, in most other titles, it wouldn't even matter that much. Like in a Halo, you know, you get jumped, you have time to react, and even if there's lag involved, it's still like there's
still an element of you're able to
like the grenade throw, jump back.
Yeah. You know, there's more tactical.
Hit him in the head with the gun. Love that.
This, like, you know, 1-2 bullet thing. It's like, you know, the game just starts to come down to, oh well, you saw me a millisecond before I saw you, and it didn't even have to do with our physical skills. It had to do with just like real time, like lag. Like that's such bullshit.
You have to overcompensate. Like the fact that when I play with you, Joe, and you're hosting your 4 bar, I'm like 2 to 3 bar. I can't snipe. I can't use an assault rifle. I just get an SMG and I hip fire and I hope for the best.
That's why all my gameplays on my channel are like of shotgun, because it's the only thing that like it's just like I can throw it in a general area, and even with lag comp, like I'll usually do okay with. Like it's just plus my aim sucks. But
yeah, I feel you, man. It sucks, you know. This when I'm host, I'm telling you, like I've posted some videos where I'm actually thinking about doing a montage of all the times I get killed, and it's just ridiculous the way I die. Like,
yeah, because you see the kill cam, like it doesn't even show you shooting, and like you have a clip into him.
What happens is it's like, okay, say a bullet from a SMG does 25% damage each bullet. When I'm host, it feels like it does 75%. The minute something touches me, I'm already red, and you know, if a flash grenade hits me next, I'm dead. It's crazy how fast I die, and it takes so many more bullets to kill because, you know,
they're not registering. Yeah,
it's the reg is crazy because you need to be so accurate because your connection is so spot on that where the enemy is, it's like almost a fallacy because they slow you down. So it's really hard and frustrating.
I know exactly what you're saying, dude. Like it's just a bite in the dick. And you know, the thing is, I think is even with dedicated servers, the Call of Duty franchise still might die anyways, just because, you know, it's the same thing. Like unless they do something totally radical and change the gameplay, in which case then it's not really Call of Duty.
Yeah, the way I see it, I think they should have taken a risk this next time around and like done Call of Duty, you know, Middle Ages where you're fucking running around with a crossbow and a sword. Like that would be badass.
Yeah, that'd be totally rad. Yeah, I would love to see some different shit. So I mean, we'll see where it goes. But I'm really excited to see what some of these new titles release, and I would love another competitive, fast-paced shooter that isn't Call of Duty. It's weird that I like Call of Duty anyways, because anyone who knows me knows I have like no competing skill set with anything. Like I have no desire to compete. I never have. But Call of Duty gets me hard.
Me too, man. Rager.
You're welcome.
With the hour and a half I spent on it, did nothing for me.
Dude, you actually did better than I thought you would.
Well, that's because I spent so much time playing Borderlands. It's the same fucking shit. The control's almost the same. I mean, it wasn't awful for me. I thought I'd be fucking raging and be done in like 7 minutes, really, I did. And,
I kept waiting for it.
Yeah, but honestly, I played for the 2 hours, and my only problem was that it fucking kept disconnecting me because it said I didn't have the fucking DLC.
Yeah, it's a dick biter.
So besides that, it wasn't awful, to be honest with you.
Well, Tim, you want to do outros?
I mean, I guess if I have to.
Yeah, we never really devised an outro.
That seems to be what everybody wants to do. So, I know.
Hey, Jim found a chat bar.
Fuck you all. I can see and read. I know it's. I'm out. Well, hey, look, eBabs, great seeing you, great discussing things with you, good having you on the show, good that it'll be good for both of your channels. Unfortunately, Jim decided to exit. Jim, good seeing you, man. Sean, a little quiet tonight, but that's okay. You know, you talk a lot during the other shows, so, you know. I mean, I've actually had the luxury of talking a little bit more because my girlfriend is at least pretending to sleep. And then, you know, Joe, always a pleasure.
Yeah.
You know, I can't wait for Overdose 10. You know, the 10th week anniversary. I don't know what we have planned for that, but...
Yeah, we should do something. We'll figure something out. But, yeah, thanks again, eBabs, and we'll catch all you guys in the next one.
right, thanks, guys. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, of course, man. We'll be doing dual
fun.
comments shit soon. I'll hit you up soon, and YouTube, you will see more of eBabs and Surf together.
Oh yeah, get ready, boys and girls.